Welcome back, Red Spotters. This is a great podcast. I promise you, nothing but the best because we've got a great team today. I'm your host, Alexis J. Soto, joined by Alexis Moreno, David Francisco, and Kyle Lira. This is kind of a reunion of sorts. I don't recall the last time the four of us have been on a podcast. No, the three of you have been on a four-person podcast last with Turn to Page, which, if I'm not mistaken, just recently dropped its third installment a few days ago, right? Turn to Page, the Harry Potter book club kind of podcast, and I am, just waiting for the... What's it called? The Secrets of Dumbledore. Are you guys gonna discuss that on your show? Is that a thing happening or no? Okay, well, I'll ask Alexis. You'll chime in a bit on that. But today we're here talking about a Batman movie. A new Batman is out in theaters. Batman, The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, is in theaters right now, and I would assume a lot of people have gone to see it since it opened to $130 million, already made $300 million worldwide, so yeah, a couple of us, as a matter of fact, have seen it several times. Kyle, I believe, has seen it twice. Alexis, I think you also saw it 2 times. Peter has seen it twice, and he will be on next week's show. He was unavailable tonight, but don't worry, he will have the last word, as he so loves to have. And oh god, sorry, it's like some microphone sounds. David, was that you?
Probably. Sorry, I'm trying to put the volume.
Oh, okay, sorry. It really hurt my ears. Anyway, the audience couldn't hear that. It was just on me. And David and I have seen it 3 times because we just want to be that thorough, I guess. But that's what we're discussing today in full spoiler fashion later on in the show. And we're also discussing some Disney drama happening. That's today on Red Spotlight number 378. First and foremost, how is Turn to Page going, guys? And is Secrets of Dumbledore going to be a thing on your show?
Probably not.
Are you guys going to go see it? I assume David will see it. I'm more curious about Kyle and Alexis.
I feel like at this point I have to, because I've seen the other ones, so it's like, well, I mean, might as well.
An obligation.
If I'm excited for it, not really, because the last 2 have been pretty horrible.
Horrible! Wow.
The last 2.
Yeah.
So the Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and the original Fantastic Beasts from 2016. That is interesting. Again, I have probably no right to speak. I'm not a particular fan of the Wizarding World films, but I did enjoy the adventureness of Fantastic Beasts, for what it's worth. I did find that to be entertaining. I didn't bother seeing Crimes of Grindelwald because, duh.
I've seen it only the times that I've seen it in the movies.
Okay.
And I honestly can't really remember, or can't even tell you what the fuck's going on.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys, because I was watching that trailer for the first time, The Secrets of Dumbledore, with Kyle, and I asked Kyle immediately, like, who the fuck is this story about? Because it's like, it has the name Dumbledore in the title, but like, if I'm watching that trailer, it's like, okay, Kowalski, for whatever reason, is still in this, and he seems to be the main focus. It feels like Jar Jar Binks took over the whole Star Wars like movies. That's what it feels like. And I'm not saying that Kowalski is like bad on the level of of Jar Jar Binks, but I'm just saying it's like, what happened? Like, who is this franchise about?
I can't tell you. I have no clue what the fuck's going on. Literally, because we saw the movie yesterday, Batman, and they showed the trailer, and I was like, who is that? Like, who is the person that they're talking about? And he was like, I don't fucking know.
Wait, who, Kowalski?
No, it was somebody related to somebody. I don't fucking know, dude.
Oh, I think it was Ezra Miller, because Ezra Miller was revealed.
They said something like,
someone who has
somebody from an old wizarding family. Something like that. But it was like part of like the good people group. I honestly...
You know what I forgot?
What?
I forgot that Zoe Kravitz was in the previous
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was.
And let me tell you, she knows nothing about the wizarding world. Like, because if you guys were watching like interviews for the Batman and stuff, they obviously would bring up Harry Potter because they were both in it, and she would be like, huh? But honestly, like, I don't blame her because I don't know what the fuck's going on in her movies.
Yeah. Like, it's so weird. Like, it says Secrets of Dumbledore, but, like, it's weird. It's really weird. Like, originally, Newt Scamander was supposed to be, like, the main focus of this franchise, but, you know, they were like, no thanks. And then,
well, that's the other question.
Doing, like, 5 movies.
Eddie Redmayne was barely in that trailer. Right? Like, he was supposed to be the main character from the first film, and he wasn't. He was like, what, in like 2 or 3 scenes in that trailer?
I don't know.
You know, of all the people that bitch and moan about like planning a series and planning, you know, these things. Oh my god. Okay. But yeah, like I'm so fucking distracted. God damn it, Peter.
This is interesting.
Okay.
Our podcast is being or he was anyway. It was hijacked momentarily. We had somebody come in. That was funny.
He was getting back at you for hijacking and announcing World War III last.
I did not announce World War III.
You kind of did.
What? Did you guys not know there was an invasion happening last recording?
Yes. We
Okay.
did.
Yeah, we kind of figured it, but like you just don't say it. Hey guys, World War III is happening.
Hey, we're
Bye.
still alive right now, so that's a win.
Are we though?
We're living.
Are we?
We exist.
Yeah,
we exist.
Still. Do we? Oh my god. But yeah, whatever Moreno says in terms of like the podcast, if she wants to talk about it, I'll go see it. But other than that, if that's not the case, if that's not the case, then I won't watch it. Because I'm just like, you know, and honestly, like 25 years of like freaking buildup of like, oh, it's gonna be the duel of the century, Grindelwald versus Dumbledore, and I saw that footage of their duel, and it's fucking like just gray all over the place with 2 freaking old, you know, sorry to Mads Mikkelsen, but just 2 old men duking it out. Just does not seem interesting to me.
You know who was also in Harry Potter? Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah, he was the original Grindelwald.
It's hilarious how many actors
Grindelwald.
have played Grindelwald at this point.
You see, he went up to freaking Newt Scamander and he said, "Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart."
I'm sure Colin Farrell's not feeling bad about that whole situation.
No, he's part of a better franchise now.
Yeah. So that was weird and confusing. Just watching that trailer.
Yeah,
it really was. Also, kind of breaking down, pretty hilarious in retrospect. So, like, David and I, we all saw it several times. And right before the movie started, they had this, like, I guess, sizzle reel of DC films in 2022. And then just before we go on the start the podcast tonight, Warner Brothers announced that half of those films aren't going to come out in 2022. They're going to be pushed back to 2023. And in this case, it seems like for very valid reasons, and that is the fact that there are so many VFX shots that they're not going to be completed by the time of their release date. And it's kind of like the reverse of what Spider-Man No Way Home did, where Sony were kind of like slave drivers and like forced them to like work 7 or 6 days a week to finish those shots, quote unquote finish, because we all know that they were still finishing certain shots while the film was in theaters. Like, they were swapping it out on a week-to-week basis, like, long after I think it debuted in theaters. That's how bad it was. And it still got a visual effects nomination from the Academy.
I mean, honestly, good for them, I guess, for the people who did it. But
did they get paid any better? I probably don't think so.
Probably not.
You can't do this to me. I started this company.
Okay.
Do you know how much I started?
All right. So that was pretty hilarious. Was it that both Aquaman 2 and The Flash are now in 2023, and The Flash got pushed back so far, it's going to open in theaters 1 whole year after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It is literally going to be the last of these like big multiverse movies.
Wasn't it supposed to be next?
I guess you could say The Flash was.
And it's hilarious because that film, it's like at this point, it's so comical. It's like the New Mutants or the No Time to Die situation where it just keeps repeatedly pushed back and back and back.
Because wasn't that one supposed to be next?
The Flash was supposed to be in theaters in 2018. Yeah, it didn't happen. That clearly didn't happen. And I think it was supposed to be next, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, it kind of sucks, but also good. I feel like they need to do something, especially after watching the movie that we're going to talk about. They need to do something.
Yeah, look, I think it's always a good sign when a studio is concerned about the quality of their overall films. So there's that. It's just very unfortunate that it's gonna come out like a long time after basically Marvel like caps their whole multiverse saga.
I see. Yeah.
And it's like, but you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be a worse film. It just means that this hype thing may not like. It may feel dated to the general public by the time it opens. Quite frankly, it's already kind of like, I'm over this multiverse thing, but it's selling. A24 even made a multiverse movie. Have you seen that trailer?
Yeah.
But here's where I think it's like a very, like, it's a very different situation in this regard. I mean, because like we're different from the general. I don't mean to sound pretentious, but we're different than the average moviegoer because we talk about this a lot. We this is in our constant conversation of multiverse this, and like everything that's coming out and like the news and all that stuff. So we're constantly bombarded with the information super highway, with all this multiverse thing, So versus an average moviegoer, just like might be clueless on what is going on, or at least like not aware of the grand the big picture of what it is. So I think that we are it's very different from us versus your average moviegoer, I feel, in terms of like how big and massive the multiverse conversation is right now. And I feel like the conversation is just barely, in terms of like the general audience, is just barely dying down from No Way Home, so like, and then it's going to be on to the next thing probably in a few months with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so I think that it's a very different situation that I think it might be multiverse is like old to maybe us. But I think that general audiences might be more susceptible because they just got done, having the conversation about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's selling, and it's selling fast. And I guess my only thing is, as far as the general audience is concerned, a year from now, will the excitement for these multiverse storylines still be as, I don't know, hyped about as they are right now? I think the hardcore comic fans will always like be up for multiversal stuff. But again, it's the Flash. It'll be a Flash movie. There has not been a Flash movie. I believe a live action Flash movie in theaters, has there? Ever? Okay, so
if anything, probably in the 70s, maybe. But that's it.
Yeah. So we will see as to all of that. Now, quickly on to this Disney stuff. So, the news has not been a positive place to be lately, for a lot of different reasons. Currently, what is really captivating a lot of the national attention this week happens to be coming out of Florida because, when does Florida do anything good? I think is the better question here, but they did something awful, as they usually do in this particular case, and that is your legislature passed what is being dubbed as the Don't Say Gay bill, which basically prohibits the word or any mention of what it is as when it comes to public education with the early grades. I believe it was from 3rd grade and below. That's just not a thing that exists. Which is pretty evil, sinister, and inhumane. And that is just typical of who the GOP is, especially in Florida. Now, because of this, many different companies in the entertainment industry have been coming out against this, but who seemingly has been having the damnedest time figuring out what he wants to do or what he wants to say. And a classic example of trying to please everybody and pleases no one. The CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Bob Chapek, has seriously screwed the pooch, as our DJ would say. And in a way where and again, we're talking about a lot of us here have been following the Disney Company and the CEOs and all of the stories, big and small, for years now. So I think all of us have some pretty long memories. I can't think of a time where the CEO of the Walt Disney Company has literally just jumped into a pool of public relations disaster as willingly as Bob Chapek just did. And clearly, I think from what reputation I've heard, Bob Chapek doesn't care that he's hated, and he knows that he's not liked by anybody. From all of the stories that we know of him not going up on stages to be at the risk of being booed, or a whole bunch of other news items that we've heard about, he doesn't seem to care that he's not liked. However, in this case, because it may affect the bottom line of the company, and he's kind of facing a kind of insurrection of sorts from inside his own kingdom, as it were, it's kind of a disaster. So let me say what happened here with Bob Chapek. He would not publicly condemn what happened with Florida and the state legislature. And so he's been trying to do some damage control when it comes to that and trying to play both sides, as it were. So from what happened today, and Alexis was talking about a hilarious investors call that just happened today as of the date of this recording. And I believe he also was asked about that. But earlier in the day, he seemed to suggest something that was kind of just that meme that came out a few years ago about wait,
we need to go a little bit back. We need to talk about that email he sent out a few days ago.
Okay.
Did you guys read that?
I vaguely remember it at this point, but what? Okay. It was an email to employees, wasn't it? It
was an email to the company, right, to the employees because for a week or so, and it wasn't just Disney, it was for, Universal and SeaWorld and all, theme parks that benefit from being in Florida, why they haven't said anything. But obviously, the one that's going to get the biggest thing is going to be Disney because they profit off of, selling rainbow stuff, so, all of these things. Yeah. So obviously, they're going to be the ones that people are going to be yo, hello?
Of all companies, that's probably the most queer coded. It's probably.
And for those that are not aware, of course, Walt Disney World is in Florida. That's why it matters a lot with
Yes. So basically, let me see here. I honestly didn't even read the whole thing because it's just it's fucking long, but
and a waste of time.
Yes, and it's basically him being like, he pulled a Last Jedi with what's his name?
Who? The governor of Florida?
No. Chapek. What was that one guy? The guy that they meet at the casino.
You mean the code breaker?
Oh, the code breaker.
Yeah. He basically pulled that he was basically like, we've given money to both sides, meaning the Democrats and the Republicans, because either way, like, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what he said. And that it doesn't matter what we do, like, we help by what we put out in our content and giving out more representation.
The Republican Party is not interested in representation, and they never have. They've only ever been interested in dismantling any kind of person that doesn't look like them. And so the idea that they just blatantly admitted, oh yeah, we give money to both sides. Fuck you, by the way, for giving money to both sides. That side doesn't deserve a damn cent. And that only reveals further that Disney, obviously a multinational corporation, gives money to them because they keep their taxes low, people, in case you didn't know that. So just a little bit of education there. Yeah. But please read the email, Alexis.
No, it's fucking long. But that's basically what he said.
Okay, so...
And then, so after that, that's when people were like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was bad.
And it was bad. And I mean, rightfully so, though, because that email was... Whoever leaked that email...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been waiting for Bob Chapek to eat it, and thankfully, he's eating it now. This is a story that's so beautiful. It's getting worse for him. It's getting so much worse for him. So with today, unless you have anything that I was missing, but today, the very first thing that I saw with Bob Chapek was during the shareholder call. Chapek said that the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, assured him that the Don't Say Gay bill will not be weaponized in any way against the LGBTQ plus community.
Bullshit.
That's the equivalent of like, remember when there was this meme a few years ago of Trump saying that he spoke to Vladimir Putin about like, well, it was something like that, right? A few years back, it's the Don't Say Gay bill that flat out outlaws the mention of the existence of gay people will not be used in any way to harm this community. What? Can you believe the CEO of this company literally said that in a shareholder call and thought that was going to get him off the hook?
Dude, this guy, man. What is he doing? Like, okay, we know that Disney has done shady stuff, but when has it been this, like, public?
This open about it, yeah.
Yes. And, like, I'm not saying that, do the shady stuff undercover or, like, where nobody sees you. Like, no.
Yeah.
But do you know how to do your job, dude? Like, what are you doing?
I remember back in the day, my homeboy, Michael Eisner. I remember when it came to like gay voices and gay people within the company, like he gave them an extra dividend, to say, hey, I got your back, and there was pullback from shareholders in the company, and he like, literally said, and he said, yeah, he was like, okay, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Because these are people too, and not only that, but like one of the like key voices that pretty much saved the company. Howard Ashman was one of the hugest gay icons to ever, walk the company. And so and the thing is that they love to profit off of the LGBTQ.
They love it. They love their money. Come on. Give it up, please. We love the gays. Come give us our money in the parks.
And if
it's just so dumb. Literally, I saw somebody tweet this the other day. The Walt Disney Company maybe would not exist if it wasn't for Howard Ashman. He literally single-handedly saved that company. And he fucking died of AIDS.
Yeah. He delivered 3 tentpole films that pulled it out of the black,
that saved the animation studio, that saved the company. Disney probably would have been bought out by somebody else a long time ago.
Yes
Yeah, they have a name now because of those 3 movies, and it's so freaking devastating, especially because the thing is that with all these you look at the villains. You look at Jafar. You look at Ursula. You look at Scar. They're all queer coded, and they all, benefit a profit margin in terms of profitability and all that stuff. All these queer coded characters are making the rounds, making the dues, and it, despite a lot of people thinking there's a lot of gay people out there,
especially in California, especially in the film industry that makes all of your movies, especially your animated films, all of your animators, and thankfully a lot of them have been speaking out lately on social media against this move.
Yes.
And whether they like it or not, rather the people sorry.
No, continue, sorry.
Whether the people in Florida like it or not, there's a huge gay community in Florida.
Do you guys remember when they had that shooting at that nightclub?
Yeah.
Literally, Disney had a big thing after that.
So I guess what really.
Not this administration.
What has changed here, really? What's changed here? The Republican Party has gotten progressively worse. They're falling further and further into authoritarianism. That's what it is. And as far as they've so politicized everything. Everything is such a culture war that it's gone to the point where if you're a humane person, it is an offense. It is an affront to their existence. And they have to shove everything down our throats. And that's what they do every time they get into power. And in tandem, a lot of these companies are now just pussies because they don't want, ironically enough, the very hot water that Bob Chapek is in right now is what he was trying to avoid in the first place. Which, by the way, how bad are you at your job?
No! How bad are you at your fucking job? Who said it was okay for him to send out that fucking email? Did nobody else read it? What is going on?
Did Shirley from accounting not read it?
I got more here, by the way, if I want to get to this, because it got worse. And this is on just today. So it was so bad that there was kind of a reversal of sorts. So Disney CEO Bob Chapek told attendees at the company's annual meeting of shareholders Wednesday that the company opposes Florida's Don't Say Gay bill and were opposed to the bill from the outset.
Also, can we just say that this was after it is now?
It was passed.
Yes. Yeah, after it passed. So it says, this is what Bob Chapek said. We were opposed to the bill from the outset, but we chose not to take a public position on it because we thought we could be more effective working behind the scenes, engaging directing.
What are you, fucking Palpatine?
Engaging
behind the scenes. Begun the Clone Wars
engaging directly with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. So today, we are signing the Human Rights Campaign's statement opposing such legislative efforts around the country and pledging $5 million towards organizations including the Human Rights Campaign. The outcome in Florida was not what many of us were hoping for, especially our LGBTQ plus employees. Unfortunately, legislation targeting their communities is being considered in many other states, which means this fight will go on. I understand our original approach, no matter how well intended, didn't quite get the job done.
When you are a company as big as Disney, there's no way, like absolutely no way, especially when you like have that many employees, and not even in the US, like around the fucking world. There's no way that you cannot speak out on things. And this, especially because it's Florida, where your biggest, like, moneymaker is, there's no way. And the fact that they thought that all of this was okay, and that people were gonna be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Stupid. What are they doing? What are they thinking?
A bunch of old people working in the company. That's what it is.
Incredibly moronic on many levels, and I'm glad you pointed this out because I forgot this myself, Alexis. Yes, all of this comes after it was already passed.
After it fucking passed.
And here, Bob Chapek wants to swoop in saying, you know what? We were fighting with you all along. The reason you didn't hear about it is because we wanted to be quiet. We were working behind the scenes on both sides of the aisle.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw.
There are heroes on both sides.
Jesus. Oh my god, dude, cringe. But I don't know if you guys saw that the governor in Florida was like, he literally came out and was like, I never got a phone call until today. Until like an hour ago.
Yeah, right here from DeSantis's press secretary. This is the first time we this lady, man. This is the first time we have heard from Disney regarding HB 1557. That's the bill. The governor did take the call from Mr. Chapek. The governor's position has not changed. No in-person meeting has been scheduled. So that's basically saying Chapek was lying there because he has not been talking to us at all.
Good job, Chapek. Good job.
It also got a little bit worse because there was a couple of developments. First of which, the most recent one was that the Human Rights Campaign just announced, I think within the last hour or so, they're not taking Disney's $5 million donation and said here that the Human Rights Campaign has rejected their $5 million until Disney has taken action, or until action is taken against Florida's anti-gay bill. Good for the Human Rights Campaign for doing that, and it completely just like it's a big fucking middle finger to Bob Chapek. I love that. I so love that. And if things couldn't get possibly any worse, they still got worse. And Pixar is done. Pixar is just done with Bob Chapek, and you can tell the hatred. The hatred, because this man has like given him the shaft so many times this entire pandemic, and this was just one step too far. What was it here that Pixar employees call out Florida, or they call out Disney for their lack of action here? And while I get they went on a tear. Oh my god. A letter from Pixar staff to Disney leaders obtained by Popular Info details their angers and demands. In the letter, Pixar staff says that nearly every moment of overtly gay affection is cut at Disney's behest, regardless of when there is protest from both the creative teams and executive leadership at Pixar. That's at any of their films, which it's like, whoa. I mean, we kind of suspected this was the case, but like for the Pixar people to say, yeah, Big Papa upstairs doesn't like the gays and they'd like to erase all the stuff from the scripts. And like we wanted to be more progressive, right? But like, you know, that guy wasn't having it.
And you could tell, you know, from the stuff that Pixar puts out, you could tell that they've been trying, and you could tell where it's been like. Also, it's just like,
and look, it goes further. Pixar staff requests that Disney immediately withdraw all financial support from the legislators behind the Don't Say Gay bill. Pixar employees conclude the letter by asking Disney to take a decisive public stand against the legislation in Florida and similar legislation across the country. Think about this. A major studio in the Disney Kingdom is saying is demanding the CEO of the Disney company to not only correct this issue, but to take a firm political stance against a major political party in the country. I don't think there's an equivalent to this in the company's history.
Nope.
It is a full-on mutiny.
I mean, the only thing I could think maybe close, but I don't think, I mean, granted, there wasn't like social media back then. It was like the strikes.
The union strikes, yeah, with the animators.
Which were also pretty bad.
Yeah. And horribly mishandled at that, too.
Uh-huh. So, I don't know, dude. I mean, honestly, go for it.
And I would not be remiss if we didn't bring also this up, because this person brought this up. So, The Proud Family was revived, and it's currently airing new episodes right now on Disney+, the sequel series of The Proud Family. Anybody here watching that show when it was on Disney Channel, by the way?
Yeah.
It was a really good show.
I did.
I've not checked back out the new episodes.
Penny!
I'm sorry, I haven't had time to watch it, but I'm like super excited because there's a lot of people in it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it really caps off this whole conversation. This tweet that I saw. In a new Proud Family episode that dropped on Disney Plus today, one character chooses not to defend the children of gay parents from discrimination because she's running for class president and wants to remain neutral. Amazing timing for this episode. You can't write this shit.
Oh my god.
You can't write this shit. And I think, honestly, this alone has to make Bob Chapek the single most stupid person to be the head of this company.
He's literally fumbling the bag.
This day couldn't get any worse for him.
This is so bad.
And can I just say, as somebody that's hated this person for a long time, I'm kind of happy. I mean, it's about time, because there are, I think, real good reasons to not like Bob Chapek. But again, at the top of all this, I said, no one at that company likes Bob Chapek. Maybe the shareholders, maybe the board of directors, because all they care about is the money, and they got plenty of it. And they love Chapek's mentality of being a cheapskate, ripping off everybody, charging more and providing less. They love that. But everybody else at the company, this guy's got to go. This guy's just got to go.
But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
No. But if we can't have that, then I guess the next best thing is to just drag his name, as it is being dragged right now. Anyway, there's that. Any other feelings anybody wants to say about this whole thing?
Did you guys see Mark Hamill's tweet?
No.
Gay.
Dude, like, I guess, like, the last thing that I want to say is just, I just feel horrible for the people in Florida right now. Especially over there, like, I feel like we do have, like, a big LGBTQ community in California. But, like, Florida, I mean, you know?
Like, those that, you know, it's one thing to, you know, have a community, but it's also another thing to feel safe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so, like, it's such a stupid thing. Like,
no, it's inhumane. And again, that also, you have to couple that with what happened just a few weeks ago in Texas. What the governor did there. And it's basically setting up a Gestapo and searching up the parents of transgender kids and prosecuting them for child abuse, quote unquote. Because their kids happen to be trans.
I don't understand how people can just, like, be so mean.
Evil.
And why can't they just fucking mind their own business? Like, what does it affect you? How does it affect you? Like, It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The biggest sinners protest the most.
The thing is, it's like a lot of the people that scream about freedom of speech, they only care about their freedom of speech. They don't care about anybody else's freedom of speech. That's what it all comes down to. But then again, that's every conservative. That's every Republican. They don't care about anything or anybody but themselves. It's all about the money. It's all about the power. And for the people who don't have any money, it's all about the culture wars. That's all it is. Anyway, before we go on to the Batman stuff, I wanted to just to button up what we had talked about last week, at least the three of us. Kyle wasn't part of this. I want to include him in on this as well. And that was the whole Defenders shows and S.H.I.E.L.D. that are going to be going over to Disney Plus on March 16th. By the way, the day after Kyle's 27th birthday.
Don't remind me.
I just did. On the Ides of March.
Disgusting.
And
yeah, for a history buff like me, I'm glad that my day of birth is a day of historical significance.
Oh, for plenty of reasons. Remember, March 15th, 2016 was also the day that Bernie lost the primary. The first time.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. Also, wasn't like this time 2 years ago the time everything closed down?
Yeah. Wait, what day is it?
It's right now it's March 10th.
The 15th? Yeah, on the 16th is when my store closed.
So much shit has happened during this time.
Yeah, like me being born. Nah.
Good stuff has happened also in March. I remember it was around this week, so where I first I got an acceptance letter to UC San Diego all those years ago. That was some good news.
Nice. Belated congratulations.
Thank you. That was a while. I graduated in 2018, but thank you.
Oh shit! Yeah. It's been that long. Congratulations, buddy. I didn't know that you graduated.
So first with Kyle, what was your reaction to the news that these shows are going to be on Disney Plus so soon?
Yay! S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil are going on there.
Yeah. Are you planning? Is anybody planning on seeing them again when they go on Disney Plus?
I already rewatched Daredevil.
Oh, really?
So I'm good.
I feel like everybody watched it already.
Like right after.
Right after Hawkeye.
They were gonna be out. Yeah. Or like right after.
No, not even that. After No Way Home.
Oh, that's true. I was gonna say right after they announced that they were going to be out of Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Kyle.
My sister Sophia, she watched, I think, the entire series for the first time after No Way Home. She was that inspired. And I think that good on that show, because I think Daredevil is an incredible, not only just part of Marvel history, but I think it's a tentpole comic book program. I think it's like one of those things that should be in the history books when discussing modern comic book media. You know what I mean? And I love an underdog story. I love the fact that that S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming to Disney Plus at last. So I like that as well.
Maybe you'll actually see it for a change. Even though the last season's been available for streaming for about a year now, maybe you can actually see it.
I don't know, unless Moreno puts on the parental locks, then in that case.
I will.
I'm like, oh darn, I can't.
No, well, we'll stick a pin in that right now. If I'm not mistaken, so the user settings are going to be updated on March 16th, and the person, Alexis, she's in charge of the account because it is hers. I think what happens is you agree to the updated terms, and that's it, right? So after you do that, in against what we originally thought, that means that once you update your settings, that's it. You don't have to put in a pin, right, to watch just those 6 Netflix shows. Or that's still to be seen how it's going to look like.
I honestly have no idea.
All I can say is sweet Christmas.
Because I just.
But okay, do you guys think that it's a little bit of a gateway for them to put more content like that?
It is a gateway to put more content on there, and I.
You know, they owe fucking Hillary Duff a fucking apology. I fucking swear.
I think it's a gateway to put more acquired content on there. Whether or not they can actually like make original content with a TVMA R rating remains to be seen altogether. We know because we've been reporting on it for a long time now. A lot of people have. Daredevil sees.
When are we getting a porn
Daredevil
section?
season 4 is gonna happen at some point. What remains to be seen is if it's gonna be the season 4 that was already written for Netflix, or are those scripts out the window? We have to readjust for this new version of Daredevil and what that's gonna look like. So I don't know. That's a good. I think it's like. I think in the last week, Charlie Cox did say that he thinks a PG-13 version of Daredevil would work, which makes me think that kind of gives us our answer, like what it's going to be.
Yeah. Which is disgusting. I think they could, if they're already going this route of having, the more explicit, entertainment in Disney Plus itself, why not just keep it that way?
They keep saying, the people at Disney and Marvel, that to keep an eye out for Moon Knight, because they say that is their most violent show yet.
Yeah, but like...
For Disney Plus.
Even... Oh, okay. I was like, even more than Punisher?
No! Hell no! No. The most violent original program, not anything that they've acquired. Come on, you can't be more violent than the Punisher.
I mean,
can you?
I mean, to some people, if you automatically put Oscar Isaac on screen, things do get violent.
Oh God,
Oh God, indeed.
I didn't even think that. Yeah, it's. I think we know ultimately how it's gonna pan out. Unfortunately, there's always hope. I mean, who knows? And that's not to say that a PG-13 version of this show can't be good. It's just going to be glaring when the first 3 seasons are so ridiculously bloody, and then the next episodes are like a little bit. They pull that back a bit. It can still work. It just is going to look weird.
I agree.
But I think Daredevil will probably. I'm thinking a new season will happen either late 2023 or early 2024. I think that's where we're looking at for the next season.
Especially because like Vinny D and Charlie C, they're in the orbit already. So
yeah. So we'll see how all of that goes. Hilariously enough, of course, from what I saw, the usual suspects that David and I talk about, whenever this news was covered on their shows, one show mysteriously was like omitted entirely from the conversation. But of course, that's just par for the course. Because who would care, right? That on March 16th, that would also be a company.
Damn, why are they doing Iron Fist dirty like that?
No, hilariously, Iron Fist always gets a mention. Always gets a mention. Yeah, that is...
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember that show.
I never even watched it.
I watched it. I can't tell you a single thing.
You can't remember Iron Fist? I will never forget how bad it was. How do you forget? Like, some of the stuff that happens on that show is like, you have to...
I know it was bad.
No, you don't remember the hilariousness of like Danny Rand's parents falling out of an airplane? I don't know how many times they went back to that clip.
Oh my God. No.
You don't remember?
I mean, I remember now, but...
I mean, I didn't see season 2. David said that season 2 was a considerable improvement. Everybody hears that. But again, when a show doesn't win over the general audience the first time around, it's really hard to recover. There is no, I think, a better example than S.H.I.E.L.D. Because those first couple of episodes, the the media did not care for at all, and they never saw any episode after what had the halfway point of the first season. 7 years went by, 7 seasons went by, 136 episodes. The quality, everybody, I think for the most part agrees, improved considerably, and yet that no second chances. You get no second chances. And that's why every time it's brought up, it's kind of a piñata. I don't know if some of you, I know David saw this clip, but some podcasts, I actually saw this, it's kind of hilarious, although, yeah, but they compared the show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to like Will Smith's first wife. And I didn't even know that Will Smith had a first wife.
He has a son.
Oh, okay. Good for him. Okay. So, there's that, guys. Lovely, wonderful stuff. Real quick, we're all back now, right? Before we get to the Batman, one last thing. Do we have anything to say about the Obi-Wan trailer?
I'd rather.
I thought the cinematography already looks better than Mandalorian and Boba Fett, so that seemed pretty interesting. That Inquisitor guy looks horrible. I don't understand why they just either couldn't put a bald cap on the guy, or the guy could have just shaved his head, and then just do the makeup. Or Peter mentioned in the group chat, he has a long head.
The cone head?
The character, like, just give him a cone head.
He looks like trash, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't have a big brain. It's just more elongated, and so it's that looks really bad. But
he just has a big head.
But just some of the settings. I mean, obviously we are leaving Tatooine. It looks like it. Hopefully, it's not just for like.
I think
I'm excited to see the stuff we've seen it before, but the stuff of like Jedi that are hiding. So if we kind of get that, like kind of like how in Clone Wars we would get little bits and pieces of the clone troopers of like their day by day life, I think that would be interesting to see, the Jedi in hiding, little snippets here and there. But other than that,
if we fucking see Rosario Ahsoka, if we fucking see anything resembling any little bit of the Mandalorian show, I'm gonna completely lose my shit. And apparently Alexis did too.
I don't think that we will see her. I mean,
don't hold your breath.
Exactly.
Who thought we would see her in the Book of Boba Fett? Who thought you would see Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett?
That's true.
It's called fucking Book of Boba Fett. I mean,
I guess it'll be interesting to see when she finds out about Luke. I don't know. I just think that like how they've been promoting the show is not exciting for me, and so that I still have that in my head, and it's just I don't know.
You know what? I do admit something did catch me in the feels.
The music.
No, it's not the music. The realization that the age that Luke is in this show is the same age that Anakin was when he found him.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That did catch me in the feels and the realization, like, Luke is probably the same age that Anakin was in Phantom Menace. Mm-hmm. And that did strike an emotional chord with me.
Okay. And I am excited for McGregor being in this role. I mean, he was one of the best parts in the prequels. I don't know. Hopefully, he's still the same. I mean, well, technically he's different story-wise, so I don't know what the heck they're gonna do, but he'll be entertaining, I think.
All of us, I think, here. No, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. First line, I guarantee you, he's gonna say is "Hello there."
Yeah, the thing is, we all love Ewan McGregor. and we all love him as Obi-Wan. And when you couple that with the fact that, from what we know, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are not involved in the show. And you're right, David, the cinematography does already look better than the Book of Boba Fett. So, with that being said, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the freaking cinematography and the House Bunny was infinitely better.
That's true.
than the Book of Boba Fett.
You're right. Look, yeah, it's probably not smart to dismiss this completely, but I think it's safe to say all of us are just very much like done with like the Star Wars on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? We might come out like actually genuinely liking it, but then again, you know, I don't know.
But one thing already is garbage, though. Yeah. What David said, like that was supposed to be the Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels.
The fuck is that?
Jason Isaacs, like, were you not available to come back? Did they not ask you to come back and do this role? I mean, Jason Isaacs, hello, in a Star Wars show. We're gonna have to
He's making a secret cameo in The Secrets of Dumbledore. Didn't you hear? I'm just kidding, by the way.
Yeah. It's bad.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I've been wrong before.
I'm only gonna watch it because it's Ewan McGregor.
Oh, by the way, his partner, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, is going to be in Ahsoka. I guarantee you she's going to play Hera.
Who's that one?
I guarantee you she's going to play Hera Syndulla.
Interesting. I mean, I like her.
I like her too, yeah. She kicks ass.
Yeah.
Ramona. So guys, are you ready?
Are we waiting for something? What's happening?
That is right. It is time for the main event. Our wonderful movie review of which we have all assembled here. Finally, after such a long time, Kyle has come out to go and we're going to review Encanto. This time, we're not talking about Bruno. We are talking about Bruno and Pepa and Camilo and Isabella and Luisa and Mirabel and everybody involved. So, because it's the biggest thing in the world.
We're going to talk about the Familia Madrigal. The Familia Madrigal. And it is magical. Magical.
Yeah, so, okay.
The one who doesn't like it knows all the words.
I mean, I mumbled half of them, so to be fair.
Good save.
I mean, and also, mind you, my students sing that song, all of this, songs 24/7. So
his students. Mm-hmm.
It's like the universe. It's like that's the universe's revenge for you not like loving the movie.
Yep.
Okay. So we're here to talk about The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. Again, just to stay, Peter will be here next week to talk about his thoughts on the film. But
coward.
Here, don't. I would be very careful about throwing accusations around when somebody has been avoiding a review for a certain movie for months now. And it hasn't been Peter.
What movie?
The one we just talked about.
What did we talk about?
Oh my god.
Man, okay. The projection is all off the wall tonight. Okay.
Is it just me or am I feeling surface pressure?
Okay. Okay. Where do we begin with this?
Hey, Peter's not here, so somebody has to derail the podcast.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this, into this review, into this movie. Of course, before we start, I always like to give people who are listening kind of a, everybody who is speaking on the movie, their previous history with this character and with this franchise. And so, okay, I'll just go ahead and start off first, and I'm going to probably cause a lot of like groans and moans, not the good kind of groans and moans right now. So with these movies, I think a lot of the Batman movies are great. And I think legitimately great movies from different kind of directors as well. Would I say that I genuinely loved the character that is Batman in any of these movies? Maybe one or two. And how many of these have actually like stuck with me as like films that I cherish? Well, it's difficult. Like, I think Batman 89 is a great movie. But I don't think of it as more of it than just a great movie. And it doesn't like really live in my mind at all. But I recognize that it's great because it is. Batman Returns is crazy to the wall fun. It is a straight up Tim Burton movie more than it is a Batman movie, and it's great. But
meow.
But I also don't think back to that movie. Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, I've never seen. I know of them. I know what happens. I know what it is. I probably will see it at some point, but I didn't see those. We all know what those are. Like them or not. Then came the Nolan films. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Batman Begins, I remember being a very good movie, but I don't remember any of it. There's that. Then came The Dark Knight, which is a legitimately great movie, probably one of the best movies of this century. No, definitely one of the best movies of this century. And everyone agrees it was robbed of the Best Picture nomination. Because it's just, I still think it's Nolan's best movie. Like,
it was robbed of a Best Picture
absolutely
win.
And it's an amazing movie. Then came Dark Knight Rises, which a lot of people despise. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I remember being entertained enough, thanks to Bane.
Because you were really I was born in it.
Yeah, that's the only reason to watch it, is Tom Hardy's ridiculous performance.
Okay, but to be honest, all of their performances are a little bit ridiculous. I mean, Batman, like, what the fuck?
I love what makes you different from all of us.
No, what Alexa just said, the "where is she" one, the "where is she" line.
Rachel.
Yeah, it does that thing where it's hilarious how Spider-Man 3,
like, I don't mean to. I just remembered something when in the Dark Knight when Harvey's in the hospital and Joker walks in with the wig, but then he takes off the wig and that's when he reacts. I'm fucking dead. That shit was
It's hilarious, though, that Spider-Man 3 gets a lot of hate for introducing too many characters that were unnecessary, quote-unquote, like Venom or Gwen Stacy or the Hobgoblin and all that stuff. But then in Dark Knight Rises,
Actually, his name is the New Goblin, excuse me.
Sorry. And then with Dark Knight Rises, you have a Catwoman and a Robin in here that were ridiculously shoehorned. And also Ra's al Ghul, right? Or the daughter of Ra's al Ghul.
Daughter.
And Bane!
Because
Oh, shit,
Bane.
yeah.
Like, behind the scenes...
I think somebody in there was supposed to be Poison Ivy as well.
Oh, and the Scarecrow, right?
He's in all the movies.
The Scarecrow was also in there.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Like, the thing is that, like, of all the productions of all the Batman movies, I think the most fascinating is probably The Dark Knight Rises. Because here's the thing, like, they were looking at fucking, like, Johnny Depp coming in as the Riddler, you know, they were talking about Philip Seymour Hoffman coming in as Penguin. They were talking, you know, about, and when Anne Hathaway originally auditioned, she auditioned for the role of Harley Quinn to coincide with the Joker's plan to continue on with what he started in The Dark Knight. So, yeah, I mean, it was such a crazy thing.
So Heath Ledger was definitely going to be in this movie, The Dark Knight Rises, but then he passed away. That's what fucked them up.
Yeah, and
that's what fucked.
Yeah.
Well, that fucked up the original plan for the film. Let me be clear. I'm not reason Heath Ledger. I'm not saying that him dying is why the movie ended up failing. That's. I'm sorry. That came out badly.
No. It's okay. You know who I think would make an amazing Joker? Actually, Jared Leto. Said no one.
No, a lot of people. No, let's be real. A lot of people.
That's
okay.
At
the beginning. Okay, at the beginning when he was just off of doing Dallas Buyers Club, it was like,
remember when that trailer first dropped at Comic-Con? The Suicide Squad. I mean, Suicide Squad.
I mean, even here,
we
all fell for it.
No, everybody fell for it. We all we.
Oh, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna.
Didn't they show a little bit of that scene where she's in the what's it called? The outfit, the one with the little hat.
Yeah.
They showed a little bit in the trailer, didn't they?
No, in the movie. In the
movie. But wasn't it in the trailer too?
I don't think it was.
Yeah, that's why people were freaking out. I mean, I say people, I mean me included.
Yeah. Hey, I was right there with you in the movie theater, like, it's the thing we know.
So yeah,
you know,
that was The Dark Knight Rises, and then fast forward a couple of years, the next Batman movie officially with the name Batman in the title is the legendary Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, of which all of us on this podcast experienced for the first time theatrically. This month, as a matter of fact, March.
Do you bleed?
A lot of shit happens in March. March 2016, we all saw this movie together. And that was quite an experience. There's a whole podcast, Holy Rusted Metal Batman. I think it's one of the early episodes of this podcast. If you want to go back and listen to our thoughts, that was hilarious.
Please don't. The audio was atrocious.
It is, but it's also, if you can get past it, it's kind of funny. A lot of the reactions with the movie. So Batman v Superman. I've come to appreciate the fact that an artist got to have his vision. That being said,
beyond that,
not even beyond that. That being said, the film is as terrible as it ever was, if not worse than it was before. So it is.
Can you believe people have these movies as their top if they're Batman?
Top comic book list. Some people would have. Yeah.
Everybody thinks that fucking Batman is about fucking like Ben Affleck killing, people and smashing heads with a fucking crate.
Peter's rant of Batman does not kill will forever go down in history. That was so much fun to listen to. But no, Batman v Superman is legitimately awful. And the characters are loathsome. in every way imaginable. It's the Murder Squad, how Peter coined it. They really are that. And it's almost not even a Batman movie because it's not really Batman. It's like, it's a Batman that just like went off the deep end.
They did more killing than the Suicide Squad.
So yeah, I to me, BVS is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. Okay, and then
Martha.
Again, that's one of the reasons why it's legendary. Legendarily awful.
Oh my god. I remember, like, I still remember to this day. We were watching fucking Captain America Civil War, and when Bucky was like, I remember you. Your mother's name was Sarah. And I was like, Martha. And the entire back row was like... You must save Martha. Wasn't that in the same year?
No, it was like I think 2 months within each other. Because
it's literally
March came.
It's literally a Lucille Bluth saying,
no,
mine
BVS
was better.
came out in March and Civil War came out in May. Same year.
Oh. It's gonna be May. But yeah, I mean that movie, and then Justice League came out, but that's not really.
I'm not counting
Batman
that one.
movie.
The next one I'm counting is Lego Batman movie. Which I love.
Which is great.
I adore it. It's hilarious. I think I mentioned that last week, and Alexa still needs to see it, or see it, but pay attention to it. I skipped one. Okay, I didn't see it when it came out in theaters, clearly because I wasn't born. None of us were. This was 1993. Mask of the Phantasm. A theatrical film.
Yeah.
Actually. And to me, one of the better ones. I think easily top 3. If not like toward the top. Yeah. Mask of the Phantasm is maybe, and I think still the best Batman story told. And so that's that. And that brings us to this new Batman. At one point, we were supposed to get a Ben Affleck Batman movie. That never happened for a lot of unfortunate reasons.
So that's in the ether. In an alternate universe.
Yeah, but I guess for me, it's like with Batman, I've never necessarily felt a connection to him as a character. It never connected with me as much as I think the rest of you it did with you. So I think until quite recently with a number of with Mask of the Phantasm, and I think with this new one. So that's where I'm at with Batman. Mm-hmm. If I were to say like which have been my favorite, Mask of the Phantasm, Lego Batman movie, and The Dark Knight. That's where I'm at with my history with this character. And I did see the animated series episodes here and there, and that version of those characters throughout like the Justice League show. So that I am familiar with, and I did enjoy that. So that's my history.
Did you watch the Batman on the WB?
Bits here and there. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the last one I saw. And by the way, because everyone's seemingly forgotten, there is a new Batman animated series coming soon on HBO Max. In case anybody forgot. So
yeah, I think it's written by Paul Dini, the guy who originally did the animated series.
Yeah, I think it is. Mm-hmm.
With Kevin Conroy coming back as.
Isn't it a crazy time? Because the same thing is happening with another pair of writers with a very like legendary animated series. The X-Men animated series are going to come back for Disney Plus.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
What a time to be a 90s kid.
Yeah. Right? So that's my history. David, what's your history with Batman?
I've always liked the character. He was one of my favorites for a long time. But the movies honestly never really impacted me much. I honestly don't remember like the 80s ones, the like Batman and Robin, Batman Forever ones or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, I enjoyed Dark Knight and everything. It's just, again, I don't know, something about the movies just never really stuck with me. Lego Batman, obviously, but that was just more so because I really love it. It was just super fun. It was funny and everything, and it didn't take Batman
Alexis is giving you a lot of side eye here, but that's fine. Look, sometimes movies don't connect, guys. Sometimes that doesn't happen. There's a reason Kyle doesn't like Encanto. We don't know the reason why. I don't know if we'll ever hear it. But sometimes movies don't connect. It's fine.
The only thing that I did connect with Batman was Batman Brave and the Bold, which was on Cartoon Network. It was a cartoon show where each episode he teams up with a different superhero, and it's usually like Aquaman, Blue Beetle, Green Arrow, and all that. It was just fun. It was just a fun show, and every couple episodes there'll be something kind of emotional happening, and it was cool and all. Especially the ending, because it was like, oh my god, sorry.
Are you okay?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm good. Sorry. But
yeah,
the ending of Batman Brave the Bold, Batmite, which if you saw the Peacemaker, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Did we all see Peacemaker yet?
That's enough. Okay.
I'm getting around to it. I saw the first episode only, but I'm getting around to it. I promise you.
Have we all seen Harley Quinn? The Harley Quinn animated show?
I've seen a few episodes, not the whole thing though. I know.
This is what I do with Alexis, by the way. All the time with her.
You were just judging David for his opinions on the old films, but you haven't seen the masterpiece that is the heart.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I love it.
If you love something, you watch it.
Excuse me. I can't watch things.
Okay, fine. All right. Good. Harley Quinn is amazing. And the Batman is a character, obviously big, and Joker and Harley Quinn obviously are big roles in that. So watch that. I think to me, like Harley Quinn, I would have said last year, Harley Quinn, I think still by a hair is the best DC stuff we've gotten in a long time. But then also now we have the Batman, now we have the Suicide Squad, now we have Peacemaker. So
we're getting there. David. Sorry.
Are you okay? Do you need some water? Do you need medicine?
I put the volume down on my mic in the recording, so
David.
The audience did not hear that. I didn't think you guys were here too, actually. My bad.
I just realized, DC is where it's at right now. That's a lot of great stuff. Yes.
Yes, DC is. And as I was saying, Batman Brave the Bold.
It's been 84 years.
Wonder Woman 1984 notwithstanding.
No,
remember that movie happened?
It was after that.
Yeah.
Though. So it's
we still got Aquaman.
We're in the new era.
And everything. There's
Black Adam.
We also have like the Doom Patrol shows, the Titan show.
Titans. It wasn't good. I never.
Not everything is great, but a lot of stuff's getting great now. That's the point. Like
Young Justice, though.
Also,
for sure, watch it.
Make DC great
Young
again.
Justice. Have you guys seen Young Justice?
No.
You guys need to see that. That one's
and I was a big fan of Teen Titans when it was airing, back in the early 2000s. I love that show. But I think we all forgot about the Penguin show that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
On HBO Max. So, yeah.
And they're doing an Arkham show now.
Is the Arkham show the same thing as the Penguin show, or is that not two separate projects?
No, I think it's different. I think it's
Peacemaker
different.
season 2, by the way. See, you gotta see it, man. It's an amazing.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen more than Kyle.
That's true.
Thanks.
Anyway,
throw me under
David,
the fucking bus.
yes, you were with the Lego Batman. I think that's. Did you want to say you skipped BVS? I guess.
Yeah, I don't. I don't care. I really liked Ben Affleck as Batman. He was really interesting. There was a lot of potential, but I can say that with all the other characters.
And went nowhere.
Yeah, it went nowhere. Sadly, yeah. But yeah, so like I said, like I've always enjoyed Batman character because I just like the idea of just a regular guy who's just using all his resources to stop crimes and everything.
Mm-hmm. The movies didn't make an impact. What about the animated series or his appearances in animated shows?
Yeah, like I said, Batman Brave. I never saw the original animated Batman series.
Okay,
it was just.
What about
Justice League?
What's the? Yes, and the Batman Beyond.
Okay, but Batman Brave and the Bold was the first one that I saw. Like, was like at least what I remember is the first official Batman anything. It's Batman cartoon, I guess, that I saw. And it was, like I said, and so just the fun parts of Batman is what I enjoy.
It's fine.
That's probably why I enjoyed Lego Movie more than the other movies.
Right.
And so, yeah. Justice League and Batman Beyond, I saw those way later on.
Yeah. And I should have mentioned this. I was pumped up for this movie, not because of the Batman stuff, but because it was Matt Reeves. And I love his movies, especially Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm sure David's with me on that as well. Like, this is a terrific filmmaker. And him and all the stuff that came out with the trailers, the still images, the poster art, like the costumes, all the stuff that we saw beforehand, everything sounded... The only thing that made us a bit trepidatious was the inclusion of so many villains, like Catwoman and Penguin and stuff like that. But that was it. Mostly we were like on such like the hype was there. We were all feeling the hype when it came to Matt Reeves. So there's that. Also, Andy Serkis is back here. Well, another collaboration between Andy Serkis and Matt Reeves. All right. So that's us. I think I did not expect David to be as distant with Batman as I was. So
exactly.
At least I'm not alone. So thank you, David. All right, who's next?
Moreno.
Okay. So I don't know what the fuck David's talking about, because I very, very it's ingrained in my brain watching Mask of the Phantasm so many times. Oh. Like, I don't know if you guys get, like, images of just, like, movies that you watched when you were little. That, like, just... That's one of them. That one, Sleeping Beauty, and I think those are, like, the ones that we watched the most. There's, like, other ones. But that one, I remember watching it all the freaking time because of David. So...
I legit don't remember watching Mask of the Phantasm.
Dude, we used to watch it all the time. And
how old was he?
He was little. I think we still lived in San Diego.
That was like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great fucking movie. It's so good. Oh my god. I watched it today actually, and it's so good.
HBO Max, baby. Go stream it.
Yes. I love Batman. I think Batman is, like, for sure my favorite superhero.
Is it, like... Batman is the superhero, right? Like, there's no more, like, popular...
For me, yes.
Like, there's no more popular... I mean, Superman and Batman are the ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think Superman is
Spider-Man.
maybe... I think Superman is, like, top. But, like, for me, like, I just think, like, everything about Batman, like, I love it. Like, his world, I don't know, is the thing that just, like, intrigues me the most. But yeah, I remember watching that movie so many times. The three, what is it? Batman Returns, and then Batman and Robin. I used to watch those all the time because my cousins, they loved those movies. So we watched them all the time. I remember freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mr. Freeze.
Like,
what killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah, like,
the Ice Age.
Yeah, we would watch them all the time. Because my cousins, they were the ones that, like, had all the movies and stuff. Like, we had movies and stuff too, but we would always, like, go on the weekends to go see them and stuff, and that was just, like, something that we would do all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I love them all. I think all of them are iconic. I know that a lot of people have, like, issues with Batman and Robin, but I don't know. I freaking love it.
Look, Batman and Robin, as, like, reviled as it is, it's iconic. I haven't seen it, and I know it. And I know the iconography of that movie. Everybody knows Batman and Robin, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy? Are you kidding me?
You joking? Yes. Amazing. And then freaking Batman Returns. I mean, listen, I'm not like... I think that Michelle Pfeiffer did a really good job, but there was always something, like, off about it for me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she's amazing. Like...
Yeah, talk about iconic, right? Yeah. I mean, like, usually when people dress up as Catwoman, they usually dress like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah,
and also,
exactly.
And like that. And like that's the version that a lot of people like tend to think of when they think of Catwoman. They're like, oh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say it's almost synonymous with like Heath Ledger. When somebody says Heath Ledger, people say, oh, Joker. You know.
Yes. And then I know there's like the what is it? The Nolan movies. I kind of in the same boat with Alexis with Batman Begins. I watched that movie, but I would get scared of that movie. And so there's a lot of things that I don't remember from it, but like I do remember being like, oh, it's like a good movie and stuff, but I never like went back to it. And then I mean, The Dark Knight, iconic. I remember when that movie came out, I was obsessed. I bought all the shirts at Hot Topic. I had are you joking?
Just the fact that you said Hot Topic.
It's amazing. It was so good. I wasn't the biggest fan of Dark Knight Rises. I do remember like while I was watching the movie, I was like, this is not as good as the last one. I didn't like Anne Hathaway in that movie. I didn't like that they didn't use Robin like at all. Like he literally just stood there. Bane was fucking hilarious.
Talk about iconic.
Talk about hilarious. Bane in the Harley Quinn show though is hysterical. If you watch.
But yeah, I mean, either way, like those three movies as a whole are really good, and you know, people still talk about them.
Those movies changed a lot of how movies are made. Yeah. And then I mean, you get to like the last iteration of the Batman. I was excited to see Ben Affleck as the Batman, and I think that he did a good job with what he was given. But he just I don't 100% not in the right mindset to play this character, and the people that he worked with were not good, unfortunately. I think that all the movies that came out with him were really bad. So has anyone bothered? I know I asked Peter and Kyle this the other day. Have you two bothered to see BVS ever?
Honestly,
no.
BVS, Justice League. All of those movies mesh together with me. I can't tell which one's which. I don't know which one's which. If you ask me, I don't know. I can't. Nope.
Even Man of Steel?
I don't remember those movies. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I forget.
Me too.
Yeah. But yeah. And then the other things that I saw, I saw The Killing Joke in theaters. I know that a lot of people have issues with that movie. I loved it. Also, seeing it in theaters.
The new one?
It up for me.
Okay. I did not know that was released theatrically.
It was in the Valley.
Was it like a Fathom Events kind of thing?
I think so.
Yeah. Didn't they have like an intro from like Bruce Timm and stuff like that?
Yes, with Mark Hamill.
Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that. The animated series, so good. I started rewatching it also, because I'm obsessed right now. I feel like I am in the same headspace as when The Dark Knight came out.
You're going back to Hot Topic to buy the shirt.
Oh, also Twilight? I mean, are you joking?
Oh my god.
Love it. I have seen a lot of the animated movies. I saw Doom. Sorry, I did see Justice League, the animated series. Amazing. Also, one that I wanted to mention was the Batman and Harley Quinn movie that came out in 2017. I actually got to be in the panel at Comic-Con when that movie came out, and I saw it there, and I saw the whole cast, and it was with the guy who does the voice for the animated series.
Kevin?
Yes. So that was amazing. And the movie's pretty good too. I really like the movie. But yeah, I love Batman. I love it so much. That's it.
Wanna know how I got these?
I just remembered. This is it. You just like unlocked a memory. You were so obsessed with that character. I think the first year, after we graduated high school, you went for him as Halloween. You had the full makeup and everything, and we even did a video on the old Barely News crew where we
did it as an intro where I pretty much we pretty much reenacted the whole like I'm gonna make this pencil disappear scene from The Dark Knight and all that stuff, and I remember that. I fucking love Batman. Let me tell you, like you have no idea how much I fucking love Batman. I heard that this little ditty movie coming out called Batman Begins when I was 10. I heard that movie was coming out and I'm like, ooh, this looks intriguing, and I've heard of this Batman character, elsewhere. I've seen him in bits and pieces, like, because I would watch the WB right after Ninja Turtles would be
Kids
on.
WB was where it was at. All day, every day,
yeah.
Every weekend.
After yeah, and then after that, Justice League was on, and I would watch it right after Ninja Turtles. And so, like, I was like, oh, okay, Batman, he's from Justice League, the animated Justice League. So I'm like, okay, Batman. So I was like, Batman Begins. Wait a minute, what else? And then I found out that the first, like, official theatrically released Batman movie to be, to come out was the 1989 Batman, so I watched that first, thinking that it would be a prequel to Batman Begins. Boy, was I mistaken. I was like, what the heck? But still, after I came out of the movie, I fucking loved it. I was like, Michael Keaton, are you kidding me? Like, it was like inspiring. Like, this world was inspiring. I'm just like, what kind of crackpot made this freaking world and all that stuff? And I'm like, well, it's Tim Burton, and all that stuff. But I automatically fell in love at first sight. I remember watching once in a while when I was like 7, a little before that, Nick at Night. I don't know if you remember Nick at Night. But Nick at Night would host episodes of Batman from the 60s. And I watched a few episodes from
I forgot that even
Batman
existed. That's right.
I did not, but I didn't mention it because I haven't seen it, and I feel
I remember I did see it.
Never seeing that.
I did see episodes of the classic 60s show when it would be on Cartoon Network, some of the specials that would be on reruns. I forget that even exists.
Like, the thing that made me, like, excited, like, I feel like I'm the only one excited amongst all of you guys, amongst my friend group, to actually be excited for the return of the Caped Crusader. Remember when they did those animated movies with Adam West and Burt Ward? And
before he passed away.
And Julie Taymor. Yeah, and, coming back as voicing some of these iconic characters. I feel like I was the only one excited for those movies, when I watched the Return of the Caped Crusader when it came out. It was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It captured a lot of the essence of the 60s while also making fun of the darkness that modern Batman has taken on. It's just such a great contrast of each other. It's just like, imagine Adam West Batman goes in the way that Ben Affleck does, and they kind of make fun of it for that. You know what I mean? Like, Burt Ward is like, geez, take it easy, Batman, and just making fun of the whole violence situation with that. So anyway, I watched that, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm in it to win it now. And after that, I was like, this town needs an enema with Jack Nicholson and all that shit. And then after that, I was like, what next after that, leading up to Batman Begins? And then I saw Batman Returns, and boy, I was like, this is not what I envisioned the Penguin to be. He's a literal fucking animal. But still, I love it. It's quirky, it's goofy, and everything like that. I think this was my first introduction to who Michelle Pfeiffer was. So I was just like, fantastic movie. Oh, my introduction to Christopher Walken was also in this movie. So I absolutely love that part too. What else? Oh, after that I watched Batman Begins. It was so different. Like I felt like I had whip. Yeah, it's not a prequel. You know, this is the prequel right here. You know, and I was like I almost got whiplash, but I liked it. Like I'm like, this is so different from like all the other Batman stuff that I've seen before, but I love it. You know, I love what they did with Scarecrow. I love what they did telling the story of, you know, Batman and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Dark Knight, you know, I saw it, fell in love, became morbidly obsessed with Heath Ledger's performance, you know, and I absolutely, I mean, he's fucking iconic. I mean, I not only dressed up as him once, but I dressed up him as twice for Halloween. You know, when I was, I think 12, I dressed up as him for Halloween. And then later on when I was 18 or 19 or something like that, I actually like got the whole shebang and did all that stuff. But I fucking loved it. I've always loved the Joker. Like the Joker was one of my favorite aspects of the Batman world. And that's why when I saw like
all of the not all of the Jokers have been iconic, but
all but one.
Even from the Adam West show, like
Cesar Romero. And you know what? I love the diva that Caesar is by not like shaving his mustache and just painting over it. I love that for him. I'm like, yes, you be a diva, Cesar Romero. But yeah, I mean, the Joker is so fucking fantastic and like amazing. I remember I wrote this Batman. I wouldn't say fan fiction because I treated it as like actual like an I remember actual story. That, yeah. And it was called Batman: A Desperate Joke. I remember I wrote that just to, you know, get myself into like, because
we're in previs right now. It'll be uploaded soon on Red Spotlight Plus.
You know, on our Patreon page. No, it was about, I remember it. It was a hostile takeover from Hugo Strange on Arkham Asylum, and he planned to, I think, use Mr. Freeze's ray to freeze Gotham over, and Batman recruited all the villains to help him out defeat Hugo Strange. That was the story. It was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I attempted to make the sequel a Winged Lullaby.
Oh yeah.
I only got 2 chapters in. But yeah, if you looked somewhere on Wattpad, it's on there. Yeah, I just love, like, again, I'm with Moreno in this regard, is that the world is so fucking fascinating. You could go on so many different facets, so many different avenues. I watched Batman the Animated Series, like at least a good season of it, and I was absolutely thrilled with what I saw. I saw Return of the Joker. You know, I remember seeing those 2 covers at Video 2000. I remember seeing Mask of the Phantasm all the time and Return of the Joker all the time. Like that image, like you talked about imagery that is stuck in your head. That right there is a formidable image that is stuck in my head. Those 2 posters, and I was absolutely like, oh my god, what is this Batman character? I want to find out, you know. And I did, and I saw, you know, all that stuff, and I read some of the. I haven't read, you know, in terms of like
Batman
the comic.
has been the only comics that I've read.
I was gonna ask if you guys have actually picked up the comic books.
I haven't obviously read all of them. I've read very little, but those have been the only ones that I've ever read.
Yeah, we have what is it, Death in the Family comic, which is super interesting. Sorry, my voice is shit.
Yeah, we do.
Peter
it's okay. You're just practicing your Batman voice.
Like it really goes into the relationship between Batman and the Joker. Like it almost makes it seem intimate.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Killing Joke. I loved the part that was the comic book.
It's a controversial film, that's for sure. It's very divisive.
It is. Yeah. It is. I think I just really liked it because of I went to go see it at the movies and like all that. But I mean, either way, I still liked it.
Yeah. It's really good. I love the interpretation at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spoilers for Killing Joke, but I love because in the comics, like it was ambiguous. Like, did Batman kill Joker or did he not?
Well, we all know that in Zack Snyder's The Justice League, I think at one point he said,
"Oh, he would have absolutely done it.
I will fucking kill you. Make no mistake,
kill you." Yeah.
The only scene I think those two had together that was at the end of a 4-hour thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like it's such like the world is so fascinating.
That was just last year.
I love,
right?
Yeah, I think of all like you have to have a compare and contrast of a superhero and his rogues gallery, you know, and I think Batman's rogues gallery is just as iconic as the hero himself, you know, because you're like, okay, so who do we have in the roster? You know, we have the Riddler, we have Catwoman, we have Harley Quinn, we have the Joker, of course, we have Penguin, Mr. Freeze.
Condiment Man!
You know, Condiment, yeah. I remember Vincent Price played Eggman and in the 60s Batman. And his power, like, you would think that because, like, egg, like, you would think it's something to do with, like, head, you know, and, like, the... you know, brains and stuff like that. Throwing eggs was his power. Of course, through Batman, we got like Polka Dot Man and Calendar Man and all that stuff. Your days are numbered, Batman. You know, and stupid shit like that. But then also we have like the Mad Hatter, which I find really fascinating. Scarecrow, which could be fucking creepy as hell.
And even like the his kind of like Bat family. You have how many Batgirls?
We have how many Robins?
And that's like an aspect
Alfred.
of like that's an aspect that's almost been exclusively to the comics and shows because the movies, beside the one glaring example, have never really delved into the extended Bat family.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because they're also very interesting.
Like, it makes me wonder, like, are we ever going to see Robin again after what happened with Batman and Robin? I know that, I guess, like...
I think with the Reeves verse, I think we're going to get it.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Because, I mean... Okay, I think... I don't know if I want it. Because... I like that we're in this era of Batman.
Right. Early Batman.
We'll talk about it.
And obviously Robin...
I was going to say, we'll just talk about it when we get to spoilers in the movies. Like,
that's true. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring the vampire himself, Robert Pattinson, as Bruce Wayne. Yes. And many other people, including...
It's the skin of a killer, Bella.
Including Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin Farrell as Penguin. We have Andy Serkis as Alfred, and the always great Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, and don't forget Paul Dano as the Riddler. So that's this movie. You know, I was so excited. I was maybe one of the only people in the whole world that got excited when I heard that this movie was basically 3 hours. Because I'm here for long movies if they're good and if they're made by good people. And in this case,
Listen, all of the long Batman movies are good. Except for one, but that's technically...
So you're saying the longer the better. Probably. Anyway, let's get to this movie.
In terms of the Batman...
Okay. I'm like... I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, I was
Alfred.
so excited. Oh my god. I was so excited for this movie to come out. And we talked about it last week. The cast for this movie, I know Robert Pattinson got a lot of shit, but let me tell you, I was so into it. Stop laughing.
I'm listening.
Continue, Alexis, please. You already stop.
Yeah, and Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. Perfect. What's it? The guy who played the Riddler. I was so excited to see him. Colin Farrell was a little iffy, but then, that all kind of changed after we saw it. Not like him, like he's a great actor and stuff, but I didn't see it, you know? I don't know. I just like everything about this movie, and then when that trailer came out, the first one, I honestly, I didn't watch any of the other trailers because I was like, no, I need to see this all at once because I was so excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
It did kind of. At first, it was a little bit like, wait, what? When they decided to just kind of scrap everything with Ben Affleck. It was a little like, okay.
Don't forget that WB nearly walked away from Matt Reeves. Or actually, Matt Reeves walked away from this project at one point.
True.
But then they came back because Matt Reeves was like, I'm not making this movie unless I have full contrul. And WB's like, okay, we have no other choice. It's you.
And I think all of my expectations were met and beyond that.
Yeah, my expectations were met and exceeded. At least for me.
Yes.
I had the biggest smile on my face watching this movie, and every minute of this movie. I can't remember, I think, a better first screening than this movie, because it's like, I walked out with no issues whatsoever, no kind of nitpicks. I didn't care it was long. I didn't care that it was, I think, a little hard to see at some point. Like, this movie is literally dark. Not just like tonally, but just like it's hard to see at some point.
Oh my god,
it really is.
The parts where the Riddler and Batman are talking through the computer and it's like the green letters. I'm blind. I literally was like, what the fuck are they saying?
What did you say? Like, you're blind as a bat?
I could not see anything. And I kept looking at the people around me because me and David sat separately, and I was like, help, what are they saying?
Yeah, it got to a point where like Peter and I were blinded by the flashlights toward the end of the movie. Guess how dark it is, like darkly lit the film is. So there's stuff here and there, but I think for me, this movie is as near as perfect as you can possibly get with this. I love this interpretation of it, of the character. I love all of the performances. I think instant classic is not something I throw around at all, but I think I can use it in this case with the film and then also with all the performances. Outstanding. The production design, the cinematography by Greg Fraser, who also shot Dune, by the way, who's about to win an Academy Award for Dune. Won't be televised. I'm kidding. I love Robert Pattinson. He is amazing. I love the suit, and I love how he walks in the suit like this like vampire-ish creature. No, obviously no pun intended or joke on that, but the score by Michael Giacchino is a masterpiece. Like, easily his best live action score. And one of his best scores ever. I think maybe the best Batman score. Because it is used here in such a way where, maybe no other like superhero theme was used before. I love the noir like feeling of it with like, the rain. I love the narration that cuts in and out with Robert Pattinson, or at least his Bruce Wayne. I love how every scene is almost just with him as the Batman in the Batman suit. You know, this movie is not that concerned with like Bruce Wayne as a socialite, and I kind of am here for it. And I love the fact that this is a Bruce Wayne that is so like new into his journey. Like this is year 2, that I feel like out of all of the other kind of Batmans in the live action sphere, you have more of an in, and I feel I have more of an in, and I already instantly connect with this version of this character than I do with any of the other versions. The best Batman movie, easily. There.
I agree. I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time. I kept like looking back at David,
which was a feat because he was literally behind you, I think, right?
He wasn't next to you. No, I was so happy throughout this entire movie. I love it so much.
3 times, baby. 3 times already in a weekend.
Oh my god. I just, literally at the end, the people that were sitting next to me left, and I told them, because we didn't know if there was because we got to see the movie a day early, and we didn't know if there was a end credit scene, and so I was like, come over here, and literally the first words out of my mouth were like, I can't believe we have this movie. Like, I can't believe what we just watched. It's so good. I love every single actor in this movie. I love this story.
Yes.
I love that this is literally, when I think of Batman, like, this is what I think of. This, like, every single thing in this movie, I love it. I love it. I want more.
Like, when can we get the sequel? Honestly,
oh my God.
Honestly, with the world and all that stuff, I could have done 2 more hours.
I could have. Yeah. Where's the Snyder cut?
The Reeves cut.
The Reeves cut. Oh my God.
David?
Yeah, I love it. We all loved it. Come on.
All right. We all loved. Yeah, that's right.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I really love that we actually got a detective story, which I honestly expected that from Matt Reeves, the entire time, way before we got a trailer and everything. Like, I just knew he was gonna do something like that. I was also excited for Robert Pattinson. We all of us knew he was a great fucking actor, and like, people who said the Twilight guy were like, shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're talking about.
Every time. It happens every time.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that, how many movies did we mention before this one? And he still was able to do something new with this character.
On his own, yeah. Like, when, no longer, like, will I see him as Edward right now. He's fucking Batman. Like, he's just that guy now.
And I love that he loves it too. Like,
yeah.
He's like, yeah, like, this is me.
And it's like, it's a great Batman movie. It's a great comic book film. But I think part of the greatness is that it really transcends beyond just like what we usually expect with
Batman
like
Beyond.
Yes, what we usually expect with like superhero movies. Like, it feels like a capital M movie. It feels like a classic film. I mentioned, of course, the rain, the narration. That's part of
a picture.
That's part of the classic like noir aesthetic. But the fact that at its core, it is a detective story makes this movie, and of course the length, I love the deliberate pace that this film has. Like, it just very deliberate and at its own way. Like, it very much feels a lot like a full-blown classic noir movie.
Yeah. Okay. Since Peter is not here, I'm going to do the honors in bringing up Letterboxd. Unmask the truth. In his second year of fighting crime, Batman uncovers corruption in Gotham City that connects to his own family while facing a serial killer known as the Riddler. The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. I fucking love this movie. I'm going to proceed by telling you how much I mean, this list is subject to change, especially with the top 3. But I'm going to give you my official Batman ranking list real quick that I whipped up on Letterboxd.
Is this the official unveiling?
Yes, okay. This is the unofficial, unveiling, Hold on.
All right.
Hold on a second. Okay. Coming in last. Batman v Superman. Justice. The next movie on that list, and I'm going from least to greatest, obviously. Batman and Robin is next. Batman Forever, The Dark Knight Rises, Batman 1966, Lego Batman, the Lego Batman movie, Batman Returns, Batman Begins, Batman 89, The Batman, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and The Dark Knight.
I don't know if you missed it, but at least I said it easily. This is, I mean, at least for me, I don't know if it undercuts what you said. Like, this version, this Batman by Matt Reeves, I feel this is the best one.
Yeah. Also, easily, like this movie is so damn, beautiful in terms of, it's grime, it's dirty, and all that stuff. And I love it for that. And I love that Gotham actually has a personality, as a city. And I love that about it. Probably the sexiest Batman movie that we've ever gotten. And, oh my God, Robert Pattinson fucking nails it. Holy shit. Naysayers, fuck you. This was a tremendous movie, and seeing what it does. Paul Dano obviously is great. Alfred, I would have loved to see more Alfred. It's a minor nitpick, a very minor nitpick, but I think what they did with Alfred,
he makes an impression though for how little he's in it. He has some great scenes. I instantly get the connection between Alfred and Bruce here, and Andy Serkis. A reminder as always, what an amazing actor, and as much of a treasure as he is considered to be, not appreciated enough for his acting abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's always been great, And Michael Giacchino, fuck me up with that score. Holy shit. It's just simple. It's just two notes. That he fucking turns into probably the most iconic Batman theme since.
To me, it's already an anthem. I hear it instantly, and it builds and it builds and it builds. It's beautiful. And by the way, it ain't just that. There's some wonderful themes here for the Riddler and Catwoman.
Catwoman, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Riddler one is... Oh, it's so good.
And I love how, symphonic, Catwoman's theme is. There's, an elegance about
speaking
Catwoman
of Catwoman, the best version of Catwoman on screen, there's a lot to her. A lot to her that is so, maybe one of the most, if not the most emotionally resonant in the film. Wow.
Yeah. She was absolutely...
I love this, story between Catwoman and Batman.
Yeah.
It's so good. And, one of the things that I told David afterwards, I hope that we do get more of her, because I love this thing where they have an attraction towards each other. There's something that connects them to each other.
Yeah.
But even the last line that she tells him, you're spoken for. But even beyond that, she didn't kill because of him, but I want to know what happens when she does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Colin Farrell completely morphs into his character as well. This just John Turturro.
John Turturro, by the way, is very good as Carmine Falcone. He was very monstrous, quietly monstrous as well. Really, also, it's like part of the nature of the film. And I think we expect it with the Batman movie now. But I think a lot of people may have forgotten, at least with Peter and I, when we took note of or at least with me, the rewatches, a lot of small kids in the movie. And of course it's a Batman movie and it is PG-13, but it's like sometimes, and I know some people are out there are like, a few critics were saying that they felt that Reeves felt constrained with the PG-13 rating in this movie. I don't see it because, quite frankly, I forget that it's a PG-13 movie. It's because considering like this, unless like the Riddler does some shit and you don't see it on camera, it's like alluded to and they cut away from it. But aside from that, like the way that the film, in terms of the subject matter, dives into with a lot of the killings, and then also with how long it is and the pace. This isn't kind of the movie that I would recommend small children to watch. That being said,
this at least from what I've noticed from people like day to day, this movie isn't for everybody. Yeah. And I understand.
I've noticed that too, and I at least I can understand it with like small kids, but obviously what you're referring to, Alexis, is a much wider extent of an audience that where this movie wouldn't be for everybody. And I don't know how much we want to.
And listen, I love the Marvel movies, but they do have a lot of blame to take for that.
They take all the blame.
Because everybody was, and then like but that like kind of bothers me because I always saw Marvel as what the Marvel movies are and DC as what this movie is, like more
more out of the out of the box, out of the almost out of a bubble. You know what I mean?
That's why I love DC more than Marvel, and that's why I think the Batman is my favorite superhero, because a lot of the things that he has to deal with, and a lot of the people that he has to deal with, are these. I mean, look at the Dark Knight and like what. Or even this movie, like what the Riddler has to say. You know what I mean?
Real quick before, I want to pick up on what you were saying, Alexis. David, did you want to say about some other things that you loved about this movie that hasn't been mentioned? I have to assume you agree with all the things that we've said.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially with the whole Catwoman Batman thing. That was absolutely my favorite part of the movie. But I also just loved the take on this Batman and this whole vengeance crusade that he was going for, and how the story progressed into him changing his ways of fighting crime and all that.
There was an arc. There was an arc here of sorts. Yes, absolutely. That's a big thing for him. And I love the angle of like the Batman having to reconcile with like the effect. He wanted to have an effect on the city, but it wasn't the one. And him realizing that was in the worst way imaginable. And what he inspired. I thought it was brilliant. I loved that angle of the character. And I think the first time the Batman movies have actually like made a full throttled attempt to address that.
Yeah.
That was actually great. Alexis, you were saying about things that you've seen. I imagine you were referring to like, other thoughts that people have had when you say that the film isn't for everybody. We did see that over the weekend that this did get an A- cinema score. Which I think Peter labeled it as like blockbusters that are a little bit artsy, kind of get into that territory. I want to ask you, like, what criticisms have you seen?
I mean, just.
I hope it's not. And like, it's not reduced to the whole thing. Like, it's not funny enough, or there's not enough jokes.
It's too dark. It's slow paced. It's really long. Those kind of like things, and I can't like blame people, because I feel like we appreciate the movie a lot more because we love movies. And I'm not saying that these people don't love movies, but it's like a different thing, and like if people who go and watch this movie who don't normally watch movies or are not super into any of that stuff, like I could see why they wouldn't like.
Yeah, that's all understandable. But I think I'm not at the point.
Like literally, I told you guys like when we went to go watch the movie, and the people next to me, they were like complaining the whole time. They were yawning. They left as soon as the credits rolled, and the first thing out of their mouth was, "Oh, I have to come back on Friday."
I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm
to see the movie."
Yeah, and again,
they were complaining about having to see the Batman.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't 100%. I absolutely love this movie so much, but I understand in a way. Okay, you have to kind of do a lot of, I don't know. I don't want to say thinking, because that makes it seem like they're stupid, but I don't know. There's a lot of thoughtness into this movie that you kind of.
I just think it's a lot more simpler than that, and thankfully, I'm not really in the mood to be charitable or kind to the general audience at this point, because quite frankly, every single movie not named Spider-Man last year was a colossal failure, or James Bond, but then we'll thank the international audience for that film being a success, not the domestic audience. They don't like movies anymore, or they don't like movies that are different in any way whatsoever. They want a Marvel movie. Anytime they go out to a movie, they just want the exact same thing. And you're right. I understand that that's what they want. I'm not okay with that's what they want, because that's all that they want. That's the problem, because that comes to a point where you're killing all these different kinds of movies, and you're also ruining stories for yourself, because you just expect the exact same things out of every single movie. And the idea that a film being tonally dark or a film being slowly paced inherently have become just like bad things for the general audience, that's fucking terrible. Of course, and remember, years ago, there was somebody that there were people that said that Avengers Infinity War was a bit slowly paced for them. That movie just moves and moves and moves. And that's the point. And I think Kevin Feige did not go out of his way in any way to ruin movies or ruin how audiences view movies. But I think that's a byproduct of the success of the MCU, to where people only go see MCU films, and if they ever venture out of the MCU, they expect every other movie to be MCU or MCU adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
It's that formula. And whenever it's different, they question it. Whenever it's different, they're immediately put off by it. God forbid the film demands you to pay attention. God forbid it demands or it asks more than just a good time at the movies. And the problem with Marvel lately is most of their films lately have just been, they're a good time at the movies. Then after that, you'll never think about it ever again.
Yeah.
I get that you're saying you understand. We all understand. I'm no longer okay being okay with it. Because it's at the point where it's actively harmful. The idea that there are people out there that think that the problem with this film, it's okay to have issues with the movie. But the idea that the problem or a legitimate issue with the film is there weren't enough jokes, or it wasn't warm.
It was fucking funny. It was hilarious.
That's also wrong. That's also wrong, because you're right. It was hilarious in moments. There were moments of levity that were brilliant, as a matter of fact, and actually had more of an impact because of how much the rest of the film was not just constantly throwing jokes at you like some other movies do.
It had that thing where the joke was so stupid.
The thumb drive? The thumb drive joke?
So funny. No, the URL.
The Rada Elada no habla español, that killed.
That was great.
Oh my god. Even
By the way, at this point, going forward, there are spoilers. In case we weren't already. Go ahead. Yeah.
All of the things that the Riddler does just are so stupid. Not the cruel stuff, but just the things for Batman.
I love Like, the thing that I love about, like, this, like, Riddler is that he's basically a 4chaner, you know, a Twitch streamer, white supremacist, you know, inducing. Like, the thing is that I love, like, for example, he uses, like, this voice, right? And we've heard it, you know, "Are you justice? Do not lie." You know, he uses that voice, but then later on, his final video, he's like, "Hey guys, thank you for watching."
That was so funny.
No, I mean, he's basically Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, he may sue me. I don't care. You can sue me, but he's Kyle Rittenhouse.
Okay, come on. Give the Riddler a little bit more
That's
credit.
true. That's true. He was smarter.
Yeah.
I think, like, one of the moments that everybody was like, "Oh, fuck." But, like, it makes sense, and it makes sense for this movie, and this, again, moment in time in this movie, when he jumps out and he fucking eats shit when he puts up his parachute.
Yeah.
To see a Batman fly or glide through the air? What was that?
And then eat shit?
Yes.
Like, it was funny, it was effective, and it makes you understand just, like, how early in this stage of Batman he is.
The fact that everything in this movie is just so tied in thematically to, like, what, like, that's the thing. I love blockbusters when they're like this, when every little thing is in service of the story, of the character, and the message and the theme. And that only ever happens when you've got visionaries like Matt Reeves or like James Gunn. This is why these kind of films are best when they're director driven.
Yes.
Like, the thing that I really admire about this movie is, like, let's just go back to, you know, the title's sake, the Batman, you know, and I love the fact that with this incarnation of Batman is that, you know, and again, like what you were pointing out to, Moreno, is that we are looking at him in his, like, Batman infancy almost, you know, because, like, the thing is that he will make fucking mistakes, and, like, fucking, like, half of the city is underwater because, like, he was just down to the wire, you know, just a simple mistake like that, you know, versus, like, give this Batman at least, like, 4 more years and he would have solved, like, all of these riddles, like, 10 years ago, you know, and like, the thing is that, you know, because he was down to the wire and because of the whole, like, down situation, it made, like, the situation a lot more dour, you know, and a lot more dire, you know, there was more dire consequences because of, like, how slow it took him to figure everything out, you know.
And it's like, it's not like he's, like, dumb, you know, like, he figured everything out on his own. And, like, he had help, but, like, most of it was him. And, you know, you could tell, like, how hard he's working on this and stuff.
Yeah. He was the one who fucking solved the first riddle. What does a liar do? You know, what does a liar do when he dies? You know, and it says he lies still. You know, he solved that fucking riddle. And the thing is, and when you're going into just, like, him, and by the way, I love the dynamic. Like, this is, like, the first dynamic that I feel like is organically possible between Gordon and Bruce Wayne. And, like, I love, like, this whole thing. I love, like, this is where, you know, and I told you this when I got out of the movie theater for the first time, and how Robert Pattinson compares him to is that he compares Batman to a drug addict. Like, this is his high, you know. And the thing is that, like, addict? It's a drug addict.
Sorry. You're looking
a drug addict. But the thing, oh my God. You're like my own brand of yes. Oh, Twilight references. Love them. But, like, the thing that I really, like, it was inspiring about this thing is, like, Robert Pattinson called him a drug addict. You know, this is how he gets his high. It's much like, you know how in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you had Spider Noir, and he's saying, you know, I hold a match between my fingers just to feel alive. You know, you had that.
Yeah.
And this is what that high is. You know, it's just something to make him feel something after being so fucking numb from witnessing his parents' murder, and I love that you have that angle of Batman. And that means to me that Robert Pattinson understands what Batman is about, and I absolutely love him for that,
Yeah.
And I think he understands Batman a lot more than all the other actors who have played him, with the exception of maybe Michael Keaton. But
I do too, because like a lot of like the stories with Batman is just like people dealing with a lot of trauma, including him. And I love that this movie like talks about that and deals with that, and we have a whole conversation with Alfred, and we get the fucking like backstory on his parents that are not squeaky clean. And like we have that conversation with him and Alfred, and where he's like, you blamed yourself and I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't know how to help you.
Yeah, you needed a father, when he said that, like, God damn it. Like, the fucking shit. You know what? I might boost this up by the end of the night on my list. But, like, the fact that, and also the moment where he was, like, saying, your father gave me these cufflinks, and he was like, what are you talking about? You're a Wayne too, you should have these cufflinks as well,
And he has like his little angsty moment where he's like, you're not
that was
father.
before, yeah.
You're not my father. Yeah. And like eating fucking blueberries with fucking sunglasses on. Like, oh my God.
Like,
I'm so edgy.
Like, that's like the smallest detail.
Yeah, leave it to rich people to eat fruit for breakfast.
No, I meant the glasses.
No, the sunglasses. The fact that he's the billionaire, thing. Anyway, I feel this it shouldn't be a controversial take, but it is a controversial take. I feel like Matt Reeves understands Batman the same way that Rian Johnson understands.
Yeah,
Star
and you
Wars.
only would get that if you agree with the idea that Rian Johnson understands Star Wars better than anybody who has ever worked, including George Lucas, ever did. And I think all of us agree. So as far as this panel is concerned, that makes a lot of sense. Can I just say, there's an interesting dichotomy with this Batman where the fact is he very much throws himself to every situation. He says flat out, I don't care if I die. And you see it in the action sequences, how much like willing he is to go. And yet, with how suicidal he seems to be, or cavalier he is with like risking his own life or not caring if he dies at all, he still also won't cross the line that the Batman is infamous for, that separates him from being as bad as everybody else, is that he won't flat out kill anybody.
Yeah.
And that is interesting and a fine line to toe.
And this is where I find this incarnation of Batman really, really, really complex and fascinating, is because you see him as like the dark figure that lurks in the shadows that a lot of people are afraid of. Like how he said that they throw up this symbol just to show fear in all these criminals, and how he showed as Batman, the Dark Knight, into Batman, the hero at the end, which I find fascinating. Okay. Get this, guys. Okay, so Michael Giacchino. Okay, this is for a purpose. Okay. So a lot of people know the intimidating notes of the Imperial March, right? And the Imperial March, it goes like, and that's supposed to be like an intimidating, like almost like superimposing sound, and that's the Imperial March with in Star Wars. But then also when we have the Batman's theme, it's superimposing in this way because it uses the same notes, the same two notes. And it's using the same superimposing notes. And that is telling me that like Michael Giacchino knows who Batman is as well, and the superimposing figure of fear that Batman is. And by using those two notes, I think is really key, essential to telling what Matt Reeves' overall vision is for Batman, because he is a superimposing figure, but at the end, like, everybody was reluctant to be rescued by the Batman, you know, even at their most desperate hour, until innocence comes in, and you could see like the comparison of the innocence of Bruce Wayne as well, you know, because like you would think that, you know, there was a loss of innocence because of his parents' death and all that stuff, but you have something of him that is still there, that is still a figure of hope, you know, and still very hopeful. And the fact that somebody innocent as a child was the first person to be rescued by Batman at the end is a key example of what differentiates him from like being, yes, he is the dark figure, but also he is by and large a hero that doesn't kill and is the savior of life, you know. And that's, again, like, you could go and do a whole study on Batman and what it takes to be a hero, but I like that's fucking impressive. That is fucking inspiring. That is how Batman should have been treated from the get-go, you know. Take note, Zack Snyder. You know, and it, like, this is where I think that everybody did their homework. Not only that, but you see influences of like The Long Halloween, you see some influences of like Death in the Family and shit like that, and you see some influences here and there of everything like that. And that's just scratching the surface, you know? And so, like, I could talk forever about this movie, but it's honestly, like, automatically, it's my top favorite movie of 2022. You know, I don't think any other movie, I mean, there is Thor Love and Thunder coming out later on this year, but, like, I don't think anything is going to be as deep and enriching as
Batman. I would not underestimate Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
True that.
No Way Home who? So, yeah, I would say that's a big contender. Don't underestimate a Rian Johnson movie. We're getting Knives Out 2 also later this year.
I forgot about that shit. You know what? It has some serious competition now. The Batman has some serious competition with Knives Out 2.
There's a lot of movies coming out this year, so. And of course, everyone's looking forward to Avatar. Yeah, right. Well, that's still coming out. James Cameron finally has a new movie, and it's Avatar 2.
I'll believe it when pigs fly.
Yeah, so.
Watch it gets delayed like 3 years.
I would not care. Who cares? I don't care. Nobody here cares. I mean, maybe we'll see it out of curiosity, but no one really cares. Yeah. Also, from a filmmaking standpoint, can we just say Matt Reeves, ever the master of misdirection? So many moments in this movie where it has you thinking it's going in this direction. You're so convinced of something, and then something happens in the next couple of scenes where it's like, oh, damn, you got me. You got me so good. I love the twists with, like, where, because really at the end of the day, it's still left in an ambiguous enough state about who or how, you know, Bruce's parents died. Like, at first you think it's like, okay, so, this one mobster killed them. No, but then through Alfred, like, he suspects the other mobster killed him, which would be Falcone. But then at the end of the day, it's left to a point where Alfred himself says, I can't be sure, you know, like, what actually happened. And I love that as well. But really, ultimately, the biggest one where you have everyone who's paying attention and appreciates this, by the way, where you're holding your breath alongside Bruce as well, is the scene in Arkham.
The interrogation.
The chills where Paul Dano was like Bruce Wayne.
It's so good. I cannot tell you. No, I literally was like,
that entire scene is so good. Like the moment where Riddler says so Bruce Wayne.
It was so
and at first I'm like, oh dang, he knows who he is, and you know, Batman, he's scared of shit right now because he's about to be outed, and then you know he looks up, he sees the
he looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah, he looks up. There's a camera.
He
in the
looks
room.
like he's like, what the fuck?
Like, he just has no idea what to do. And then Wait a minute.
I need to think of something quick.
Is he actually like calling him Bruce Wayne, or is he just saying Bruce Wayne and then like saying something else? He's not directly talking to Batman right now as Bruce Wayne, and then finally you get the whole
But it's shot that way.
But even like moments before the interrogation, when he's looking in his room, and you know, everything kind of points to him kind of knowing who Batman is, and he's like, even he fucking says, he goes, I think this is all coming to an end.
He said that to Gordon, and he said, oh, you're a good cop, and then he walks off. No, that's all cleverly just like
said no one ever.
Respect to Judy Hopps, damn it. She's the one good cop. Don't forget Judy Hopps. From Zootopia.
But like again, like that was good, and then like the bait and switch, where
and
he's
the
like,
change with
we
Batman,
almost had it,
where he's just like we finally
almost had him.
Yeah, the sigh of
I was
relief.
getting closer to him and everything. It's like, oh my god, like thank you for not outing me. But also, even like I don't know, maybe he just notices it too. But Riddler even goes, oh, "Dang, you're big guy" or something like that. Mm-hmm.
The panic. I love the panic though. Oh my goodness. That was perfect.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
this is not how it's supposed to go.
Paul Dano killed it.
His fucking like yells like no. Like, oh my god.
His performance, while when it's not hilarious, but it still is when it is hilarious, simply disturbing.
It's like, yes, but it's so,
yes, no, yeah,
it's so good.
And like his lines are equally iconic as even like Heath Ledger's icon. Are you justice? Do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye? I want to see a magic trick. Oh my god, I love when he was like, "What's black and blue?" Dead. Like, oh god, like his riddles are like fantastic. I'm glad, like it's so amazing that how withdrawn, because they could have easily gone like, riddle me this, Batman, you know, and they could have easily gone that route, but no, they went like a more menacing route with him and all that stuff. And the fact that this person could be, I mean, he's a school shooter. Let's be real here. Like that's the kind of persona that
Kyle,
we're taking on.
Have you seen the Riddler version in Harley Quinn?
No.
Let me know. No,
Is it the same?
No. Let me know when you see it. It's hilarious.
Okay. But yeah, like the costume also is fantastic. Like right from the first, like one of the first shots of the movie, when you were just like, who the fuck is behind, you know, this guy? And
the costume is
obviously
beautiful. To me, my favorite costume easily. And I love how he looks in it. I love how he walks in it too. Looks so good.
Yeah. The green, like the utilization of green, I think is a fantastic way.
I like that. Something that I saw somebody like point out was that the Riddler has always wanted to like work with Batman.
Yeah.
But I like that they used this to kind of make him like unstable. And kind of like, I don't know, like use it just like where Batman's like, you're like fucking insane. Like you're actually crazy.
Yeah. And all this time, like he thought that maybe like Batman was his on his side because he solved all this stuff. You know, so good. This movie is so good. So fucking good.
You were right. I wanted to touch on what you said earlier. The chemistry between Catwoman and Batman, off the charts. Just that moment,
steamy to say the least.
God, when they kiss and the music is swelling and just perfect filmmaking. The camera, the music, the look of it, the acting. It's just like so many times this movie where it just sticks out to you. I love I guess this is this film's hallway scene with the bullets as flashlights while he's trying to save Falcone from being murdered from Catwoman. Remember, like it's flickering on and off in the screen, and he's just making his way through them. He just kicks so much ass though in this movie. I love it.
Also, have you noticed that whenever like people start shooting Batman,
yes, he gets pissed off immediately. Like he has like
no, but like notice how like this is a great like version. This is a great use of sound design, and where it matches the theme song, like Batman's theme song. Like the bullets sound like the theme song, like dun 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 dun, you know, and it's just like like so many intricacies are great. A lot of people are saying this movie is too dark. It's not silly enough. Bitch, did you not see like fucking Selena just pour herself a whole fucking glass of milk? You know, to boot with, you know, surrounded by cats. Like, are you kidding me? This movie's not silly. Oh, again, mentioning the thumb drive bit is fantastic. Absolutely hilarious. And like, God, this guy is sick.
Oh, David didn't catch this the first time, but it's in the scene, the funeral scene when he's talking to Falcone, and I can't remember Batman's line, but he says something.
He took the Hippocratic Oath?
No. Something about, like, someone getting shot or something, and then Falcone is like, why is your dad around? Did you guys not hear that?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I thought, dude, I died. I was like, oh, fuck. Because he's talking about somebody getting shot or somebody, like, shooting somebody, and then he just, dead.
Yeah. Also, like, the thing that like is amazing is like the inspiration of violence that Batman has caused, like especially with the guy at the end with the Riddler costume, and like, who are you? Who am I? I am vengeance, you know, and just like the kind of tiptoeing and like, you know, there's a word for it, but it's like the causes and effects of who he is as, you know, being a masked vigilante, and what can, you know, it's kind of bittersweet. Like, yes, you are being inspired by this stuff, but it's also it's also something of also negative light as well, you know, that I think is really well put into this movie.
I just want to say one of the scenes that stuck out to me during the climax of the film, in the arena as the flooding is happening, and they shoot Riel, at least the Riddler people, and then Batman's entrance and through the skylight of that arena.
Fuck me up so good.
It's like, oh my god. Love it. And the idea also that toward the end of all of that, he gets to be the hero of his own movie, and how he like lunges into the water to save people with was it a flare? Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. And then like he guides people out of there, like, and him also at the end on the rooftop with like rescuing people on the scene. It's like, when have you seen Batman do that?
Never. I love that we got this scene. Like, again, I can't believe we have this movie.
Something in the way. Before we clock out of here, let's talk about Barry. Let's talk about Barry.
Yeah.
Barry Keoghan? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Let's talk about
Barry with an individual who quite frankly doesn't like him very much. Right, Kyle? Barry so Alexis, I figured this out the other day. So apparently his last name is not pronounced Keoghan or Keegan. It turns out, despite how it's spelled, and this is the Irish, and this is how Matt Reeves pronounced it, it's Barry Keoghan.
I did hear somebody mention that.
Barry Keoghan. Yeah, he's the Joker, and we saw a little bit of him, and he looks absolutely insane, and I love it.
The second time I paid not that I wasn't paying attention before, but I kind of was like focusing a little bit more. Oh. So
I mean that's the reason why I was excited when I heard that he could be the Joker. It's like, yeah, that's what I saw.
I kind of hope we wait a little bit until we see him.
We will.
Like, I really, really
We're not going to see a sequel until like 3 years, probably.
No. Even in the sequel, I hope that because I mean,
save him for film 3.
It's the fucking Joker, you know. I hope that we kind of get him as like the final boss type of thing.
Yeah.
No, I loved it. Yeah.
The look that he has, from what I could make out, is it looks like he's the man who laughs. Like,
yeah, I kind of saw it more this time.
Because at first you thought, Alexis, it was like Two-Face.
Yeah, because I saw like a white eye, and so I was like,
well, his face is disfigured.
Yeah, I saw it more this time. The second time that I saw it, I was like, okay.
Like, to me, where it became clear, even though
you can kind of see right here, like on the next to like the eyebrow, you can kind of see like there's something there. Yeah,
Matt Reeves has already confirmed that was Joker, but I think the two clues were he literally said the word clown, and of course the laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I love how almost like juvenile his laugh is.
Again, all of these are younger versions of these characters, much younger than everybody else. So,
yeah,
no, but almost like there's almost a playful quality to his laugh that makes it a little bit more creepier.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I know that a lot of people are like, "Why is he in there? Why are we seeing him? This and that. Like, has Batman seen him before?" I don't think that he has. I don't think that him and Batman have ever met each other. I think that he knows about Batman because of like the news.
That could be a question for Matt Reeves to answer because they did have a scene in this movie.
I don't want it to be answered.
But they did have a scene in this movie. It was cut from the movie. Barry Keoghan was supposed to be in 2 more scenes. There was a whole point where, and this was filmed, Bruce went to Arkham and he did have a talk with Barry Keoghan. That's not to say that they have established history. It could have been their first interaction. I don't know if that is quote unquote canon. They are deleted scenes. They will be made available at some point, but there were 2 more scenes with Barry in this movie that were supposed to happen.
Where's the Reeves cut?
But they were cut out because ultimately it did not. It got in the way of the overall flow of the film, which, by the way, for a film that's 3 hours, for a film that is deliberately paced, is quite excellent how the film flows. At no point did I feel like it dragged or that we were seeing something that was like not like in service of the story overall. Which you can't say a lot about most movies these days of any nature. I love the sound design for the Batmobile, which we haven't talked about that yet, but that whole sequence, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably I think it's the best Batmobile chase since
easily,
Batman
and then also I love the look on the Penguin's face when that thing was gearing up. It's like, I'm out of here. Bye. He just took the fuck off. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my god, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I think he's fantastic.
I'm sorry, like, for me, I'm at the mind where, like, best Batman, best Catwoman, best Penguin. Like, I love this so much. Love it.
Yeah.
Let me use my flippers. Oh my god. When he was, like, chained up with the fucking handcuffs and all this stuff, and the waddle that he did.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Literally. Yeah.
Don't you know Spanish?
That was so funny.
It's not law, it's L. Also, I like how like he's not a formidable foe of Batman yet.
Again, he's up and coming.
You know what I mean?
Like he was number 2 to a big crime boss. Now with Falcone out of the way,
no, he's not. You are number 2, not number 1. But anyway, like the fact that he kind of helped, Batman in like his pursuit to like tracking down, you know, the Riddler, you know, is actually very fascinating as well. Also, when I saw the Iceberg Lounge, I'm like, Arkham City. Oh, by the way, fucking love those games. Like that's also Batman to me. Like those games.
He also had me going there with, and I love that editing trick of Bruce racing back to save Alfred. But then it turns out the explosion already happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they had me going like, oh no, did they just kill off Andy Serkis again? Because Andy Serkis also gets killed off in a lot of movies prematurely.
Yeah.
Black Panther, anybody?
Yeah. Wasted potential. Oh, anyway, like the thing that... What was I going to say? Oh, like, I hope that the next movie is number 1, a Christmas movie. Number 2, they could use a lot of freaking like atmospheric things with
just do all the
city. With like it'll be like a Gilmore Girls, a year in the life.
Batman, a year in the life.
Yeah.
Batman and Friends.
Oh, Batman and Friends. Oh my god. No, but like the fact that most of the city is underwater right now, like Penguin with the fucking submarine, you could do that shit. Fucking Mr. Freeze is right there. Just like freeze half the town. Come on, let's go. And also a Christmas vibe of a Batman movie, because I feel like Christmas itself is really gothic. So I think that you could use that as, you know, your advantage. I don't know. There's so many different things that he could do with this new world of, you know, the Reeves verse. You know, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they use in the future. I wonder if they're gonna use more of like Batman, you know, Bruce Wayne as like the mask versus like his real character and stuff like that. So a lot of potential. Like my head is spinning, and I'm in love with this movie. Mwah.
Yeah. One of the things that I did kind of was like iffy on in the first watch was the Bruce Wayne aspect of it. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more, but I think by the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, like obviously like they're gonna make more. There's no way that they're just gonna be one. And I like that we get this side where he's like still dealing with shit and he's just like not ready to go out into the world type of thing. But I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like there's a lot of and like obviously Matt Reeves is gonna come back and direct, you know, and also I love the fact that the cinematographer for this movie also did Dune. Like, I'm like, oh, no wonder why it looks gorgeous. And bleak at the same time. You know? The whole... masterpiece. That's all I could, you know, that's...
Well, look how long we've gushed about the film. Like, and legitimately, like, usually when it comes to films that I love, there are still a couple of things that you can definitely like give credence to a valid critique of. This is the first movie in a long time where I'm really struggling to find like a legitimate criticism of the film itself, because I can't think of anything.
The production design, oh my god, like especially Wayne Tower, Tim Burton's wet dream going on with its Art Deco architecture and shit.
I love that it wasn't just a boring modern-esque apartment.
Yeah.
No shade thrown at somebody else.
Yeah, but like I find it the Batcave. absolutely fantastic looking. Like, it looks like
the stuff that he uses, like the freaking eye contacts. It's the fluorescence.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. And, like, it's not so, like, out of the depth of reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that it's quirky yet grounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I like about this Batman. What else? Oh, I love the subtle design on his motorcycle. How, like, in the front, like, you could see the bat ears. You know, but it's just, like, the windshield, like, the shield and all that stuff. The final shot of the movie is absolutely beautiful.
So good.
Did you guys do the little puzzle at the end of the movie?
What puzzle?
Oh, so you
at the very end?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
at
can't
the end,
read.
Oh yeah.
What
okay.
puzzle?
Never mind. Okay, because at the end, like, there's a question mark, and you know, it's like a riddler. It's a riddle at the end, and it leads you to a website that you actually go to, Rada Alada or whatever the thing, and you talk to the Penguin. I mean, not the Penguin. You talk to the Riddler, and like the final answer is you're meant to get it wrong, but he is like, soon you will see more.
Okay.
So this isn't the last that we see of Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Good.
But as to what I was saying before, is there anything bad to say?
No. I've got no complaints.
Me either.
Oh, I do have a complaint, actually. This movie needs to be 2 hours more longer. And if that's the only complaint I have, then Matt Reeves, you did a fan-fucking-tastic job at this movie.
Something of a curious question I had, because I did mention before that I noticed a lot of small children in my screenings of it. Not that any of us ever want children or near in the future. None of us do at this point. I'm curious what you guys, if you had kids, what is the limit to see this movie? Like, how young is too young to see this movie? What's the cutoff point? How would you do it?
Right out of the womb.
Yep.
What?
If I ever have kids, I would let them watch whatever. Scary stuff.
Well, this could be kind of scary.
I think Batman Begins is scarier. That shit was scary.
Yeah. I wouldn't be more, I would be conscientious of things that I know they wouldn't enjoy. More so than about, like, things that would be, like, disturbing. I mean, it depends on how young, right? But, you know, yeah.
This might be an example of where you could utilize, like, what the rating PG-13 is meant for. You know? I mean, 13 maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, I saw Batman Begins when I was 10.
Also,
and I was
it's just
like,
that when you said out of the womb, it's like no baby out of the womb should be allowed in a movie theater. That's where where I kind of like grimace because like no.
No, my joke is start them with this movie young.
I'm a proponent of no baby should be allowed in the movie theater. What would be the fucking point of bringing a baby?
No babies anymore. Just cut it. Just
anything
Gen
else?
Z is the last generation. That's it.
Nope.
No,
It should surprise nobody. I already ordered a poster.
Guess what?
What?
Guess what? In my limited space that I have on my walls, so did I.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've run the course of this conversation.
It's almost as long as the fucking movie.
Maybe even longer, who knows. I want to thank Kyle and Alexis and David for being here. I want to thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for all the podcasts that we have coming up in the future. In the following weeks, Peter and I will come back. Well, first, he'll come back to review the Batman. We also got Pixar's Turning Red happening on Disney+, as well as other films that we need to get to, like Ryusuke Hamaguchi's Drive My Car, currently streaming on HBO Max, as well as Licorice Pizza by Paul Thomas Anderson, and then, of course, the Academy Awards on March 27th. Not to mention, of course, that in early April, hopefully, our team will get together and finally, to cap off Oscar season, we will discuss our favorite 10 movies of 2021 with Kyle Lira, who is very much excited about this, and Peter Martinez. And yes, I can't wait for all of that. So this is the last call. Watch all the movies you can, because hopefully we'll be delivering that podcast to you very soon. As we mentioned before in the past, we are going to bring back audio commentaries later this year. I would assume in late spring, early summers. We already got some contenders that we talked about last week with Alexis and David. So we're going to bring back those group audio commentaries that we've not done since, I believe, the summer of 2020, which that is too long for us not to have done some audio commentaries. But thankfully, we've got some new movies to actually do that with. So
first audio commentary coming up, Cats.
Well, that's not one of the ones we talked about, but that's an option we can definitely discuss. As well as the fact that we also have, of course, Turn to Page, currently with Alexis, Kyle, David, and Peter talking about, the wonderful books of Harry Potter. So all that stuff coming at you. And, of course, we're all waiting with bated breath for the Encanto movie review with Peter, Alexis, and Kyle on the Fantasy Fair podcast whenever that makes its wonderful return. And of course, we're all waiting for Kyle to see a whole bunch of things. So there's that. Thank you all for being here. Stay under our spotlight for more content anywhere you listen to podcasts, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.